body, girl, it look like whoa. Body up, up, down, body don't need no toe. We can do something so you only God, they know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Do something so you only God, they know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Body, girl, it look like whoa. Body up, up, down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only God, they know. Broke out, make the whole world know. Do something so you only God, they know. Broke out, make the body up, up, down, body. See your body, girl, it look like whoa. Body up, up, down, body don't need no toe. When I do something so you only God, you know. Broke out.
Push on my foolish pride. I'm out of my mind. I'm down from the endless high. Don't know who's losing, who's bruising, who's choosing to stick it through. So we fight with fire. Still on a wire.
sea, but amazingly, I'm too scared of water. Too scared of water. And I hope that one day you'll find me again. We can run to the top of the mountains. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? Just give me a hand and we'll run far from here, away from curfews you have and all those things you hold dear. It would be stupid to throw it away, so let's get out on this boat and stop your crying for days. I wanna see the sea, but amazingly, I'm too scared of water, too scared of water. And I hope that one day you'll find me again. We can run to the top of the mountains. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? Show me all you know. Tell me what you know, and show me your love. Show me all you know. Tell me what you know, and show me your love. No, we don't have to go far. All we need is to try hard. No, we don't need to be clear. We need our best thoughts held dear. We need escape from here. So if I took you back to the place where we first met, would you fall in love all over? Would you fall in love once all over again? So if I took you back to the moment you met me, would you smile like our first kiss? Would you remember when you fell in love with me? Show me all you know. Tell me what you know, and show me your love. Show me all you know. Tell me what you know, and show me your love.
this. On my baseline, you get back to this. Now my baseline crew get light to this. Bass, get right, bass, get right, bass, get right, bass, get right,
Belong Arena Clash is back, and fresh off the Howling Abyss, so are your League of Legends casters. I am Stanley Greyheart Barker, and this is Stuart Sin McLeod.
Yeah, we're here to fill that league fix that we know you've all been having with Worlds gone until Saturday. We know you're getting the withdrawal symptoms, the shakes a little bit, so we're here to fill that gap and make sure that you're getting your supply of League of Legends.
Yeah, and if you're watching from the States, we're sorry.
Oh god, yeah, it's 0 NA teams in quarterfinals for the first time since season 5, which was also in EU. It's just a curse for them over here.
Absolutely, we're gonna not see any NA teams ourselves, so it's a lot like the quarterfinals over here. We instead are going to be seeing some of our top arena clash teams. We're going to be checking out a couple of the teams from Bristol, the Brawlers and the Smugglers. We're also going to be seeing Kingston Harriers and the Cardiff Saints. They're each going to be taking on one of the Bristol teams.
Yeah, and so we're excited to see how this one shakes out. It's very early into the season. We don't really know how good some of the teams looked, but we know there's been some big upgrades around the league. We talked about it a little bit last week, but like Clyde had an upgrade. T-Side have all been grinding solo queue. The London team had an upgrade as well, and we're excited to see how this does shake out, because there looks to be, even if it's the same contenders as last season, much upgraded versions of those contenders.
And with our first week in the book, it's a good opportunity to have a little look at how the standings are in the various groups. Who is currently topping their respective tables? In Group 1, we are going to see the Lionhearts topping things off, and the Claymores are joint with them. Leviathans and Vikings slightly lower. The Kestrels, unfortunately, have now dropped out of that group.
But that's the matchup we're looking at right there. Lionhearts versus Claymores. That's the one we're excited for. And that's going to be the fight for who gets the better seeding to try and make finals. Because legitimately, from what we're hearing, both of these teams could make finals.
There's a very real chance. Meanwhile, in Group 2, the Hunters and the Steelers dominating the opposition so far. Saints are playing their first game. That will be on stream today. They're going up against the Brawlers, who are bottom of the table with the Nighthawks.
Of course, Saints having a week off. We don't know what they look like yet, but the Brawlers looking to continue with their season, trying to turn it around after going for that loss in their first week. Steelers are the favourites here in this group that we're hearing. They did represent the Belong Arena Clash at Forge of Champions, and they're looking to continue from there.
We saw there the Bristol Brawlers, but they are not the Bristol team that has my heart. That is instead the Smugglers, who are topping the table. We'll be seeing them in action later on against the Harriers, who haven't played their first match just yet. Pirates are top of the table as well. Armada and Spartans down at the bottom.
And we got a chance to look at that new look Portsmouth Pirates last week, and hopefully they're going to find some synergy, they find some more form, because Portsmouth has traditionally been one of the best teams in Arena Clash. If they continue that run of form, try and make a deep run in playoffs, I'd be excited to see if they can do it again with an all-new roster.
Group 4, we see the Rams and the Invincibles, who are currently looking invincible as a 1-win, 0-loss streak is showing. Centurions and Nigmas, they both took a loss. The Guardians are going to be playing their first game this week.
Yeah, and so Guardians now, one of our other semi-finalists, they lost to the T-side Steelers last time around, so looking to have better fortune this season, make a bit of a deeper run maybe, and getting a good start here, putting some numbers on the board straight away is obviously the aim. So I hope they can find that form that they did have, because they did look like one of the strongest teams for a while there, but it was very much, they played the very slow game, and Steelers played the very quick game, and it was a counter of styles. It didn't really work out, and unfortunately they ended up dropping in that semi-final.
Turning our attention to today's games, we have a chance to look at the rosters from the respective teams. We are going to see that playing for the Cardiff Saints, we're going to have Squirrel, Sign-Up Sprinter, Vito Ro, Avianako, and Felix Mamo.
And of course, on the Bristol Brawlers, we got Thane, Gelatin Skeleton, Piggy, Addy, and a Nice Penta Idiot.
That's such a great name. Oh dear. I wonder
does that mean he just, like, whenever his teammate gets a Penta, he just pings on himself as alive? Just nice Penta Idiot.
Or maybe it's just a description of their team. The 5 players are a Penta Idiot. It's like Pentakill the band. It's Penta Idiot.
They all are idiots. They come together to create one Penta Idiot, like Voltron or something.
I'm really hoping that's going to be his in-game summoner name. I'm not going to lie. That's fantastic. There's a few names there that we recognise from various splits.
Yeah.
Well, from the last couple of splits. And, you know, we're going to get to have an opportunity. I've just had production in my ear saying that is indeed what we're going to see in-game, which is just absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so what do we need to see? We need to see Yumi, Tom Kench, Callista, like as many ways to stack champions on top of each other as possible to create Voltron. We need this. I need the Penta Idiot.
The Mighty Morphin Nice Penta Idiot. Moving
Form
on
of Pterodactyl.
Moving on from my favourite name in Belong Arena Clash so far this split. Let's look at some of the ones who we've seen before. Thane is a player who was playing in the last split, had some pretty excellent performances on stream. Going over onto the Saints side, there was a couple of recognisable names there as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are people who are no stranger to Arena Clash, to playing in this sort of competition. Obviously, they're going to be looking to try and carry their team as far as they can through this best of 3 series.
Also, I just love the name Thane. It's, even if you spell it oddly and make us casters cry because we have to work out how to pronounce your stupid name.
What if Thane plays Vayne?
Oh no, Vayne top. That would... Don't do that to me.
Thane could play Vayne in the rain in Spain.
Stan, why do you always do this to me? It's just as we're about to start and he's already trying to tilt me, guys. This always ends up happening.
Well, I don't know why I do it. I think I'm amusing myself, even if not you.
At least you're amusing somebody. But coming into the games here, we are looking at the meta where it's been very defined in terms of what we're seeing at Worlds. It's very 1-3-1 or all 5-man team fight. There's no in between. You have teams that are just based around splitting the map as best you can and rotating between side lanes. You got like your Lee Sins, your Akalis, your Pikes, triple TPs, Gangplanks, things like that, where you want to split the map as much as possible and capitalize on a weak side. And you've got those teams where it is all just about the 5-man unit, and those can include Gangplank as well, but it's much more about all diving bot lane, every single member. You look at your Gragas's, you've seen, obviously, Vigar we saw at Worlds as well, and these more AoE-focused champions to just wombo someone down, and I think that being the ease of execution option is more likely what we're going to see here today.
We certainly have seen Vigar. What do you reckon? Should it be appearing in the mid lane, the bot lane? Does it need the support?
See, the Glacial Augment is almost crucial to his survivability, so he needs to be able to get to one item. There's very few champions in the mid lane right now that will allow him to get to one item. We saw Akali lets him get to level 6, lets him get to that one item, because it is quite a cheap item, the Hextech Starburst.
The GLP?
You just hit him with a Super Soaker. But the... like, it's... You have to be able to get him to that Super Soaker point to be survivable. And having him in a bot lane makes it so much easier. It's so much harder to dive bot lane, which we've seen so many teams have a focus on, which is why people go for him, similar to why people go for a Xayah. But I think he's still very good in the mid lane and can't be overlooked.
And it's obviously really important to have that Super Soaker, because the weaker items, they're just not quite the same. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was never bought a Super Soaker as a child, so whenever I went to water fights and I had like the little Poundland water pistols, it just wasn't the same. You're like getting hit in the face by like a full-on jet of water, and I'm like, pew, 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 pew. It wasn't so hard.
That's the thing, by the time you end the game, you have the full arsenal of, you have ghosts that you've brought onto your side.
Yeah,
like
some of my friends got bought them as well. Ridiculous.
So you have like the army of ghosts from Lord of the Rings Return of the King. You have a giant Super Soaker that your grandparents bought you for Christmas because you were rich and entitled. And you just end up being so strong where nobody can get through you. You are able to lock people down from a large distance where you slow them, you create these slow fields, and then that makes it so much easier to land your E as Veigar, win these AoE team fights. And we've seen Glacial Augment coming back for that exact reason. We've seen it even on like Lux and Ari as well, who have been running it more often recently. And they are great facilitators for your team, especially Morgana bot, which we saw from Reckless.
Oh, don't. Please no. Please never again. Not on an EU team, at least.
But the point is, Glacial Augment is still a great tool for facilitating your team, and at this level, where teams are focusing around getting comfortable with communication and getting comfortable with each other, having a mid laner who can be vocal and utilize that Glacial Augment is very big. And if we see that utilized effectively, I think it can be one of the biggest tools this season. We already saw it already from, I forget which team it was, but they had the Malzahar mid lane 2 games in a row that run that Glacial Augment, and it really aided them in just being able to make plays in the mid game.
And I think one of the things I always look at with Veigar as well is the changes to the cooldown on Event Horizon.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're putting this massive cage up, and as you get to max rank, all of a sudden it's up every like 7 seconds or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
when
it's not
then
fun.
you're factoring cooldowns. It's like, actually, this is kind of crazy, and it's being used to really good effect. Personally, like to see it in the mid lane rather than stacking down the bot lane, but like you said, there are certain champions that are going to abuse its lack of mobility early on.
I believe it was played by Nuclear in IG versus Dam 1 versus TL, and 2 different points in the game I saw a Kai'Sa just jump with her ultimate directly into a Veigar wall and get one shot.
Oh, you hate to see that.
And at another point in the game, it was an Aatrox who was fully ready to blow somebody up, fully ready to go for his full rotation combo, and then ease directly into the wall as it despawns.
All right, well, we've talked a lot about Veigar. We may or may not get to see it on the Rift today. We are jumping into the pick and bans. We're going to get to see exactly who the Saints and the Smugglers... Smugglers or Brawlers? Whoever the Saints and their Bristol opposition are prioritising here in this game. It's going to be the Caitlyn ban first of all, as we do see a nice Penta on the right-hand side, which tells us that it is going to be the Bristol team on the right of our screens. They ban away the Nunu.
Okay, so Nunu has been a champion that's really run amok in Arena Clash in terms of a lot of junglers going for him. You go for the... you go for that aftershock, you gank level 2, level 3, level 4. You just gank every single level because it's so hard to stop you at that point. You become unkillable very quickly. Your Q heals you up to full once you arrive in a lane, and you can chain gank so effectively that you can snowball your lanes, no pun intended, very quickly.
No pun intended, my backside. It's going to be Zach taken off the table.
Don't be a wuss. Intend your puns.
by the Cardiff Saints. They're also going to remove Morgana because they also don't want to see it on their ADC. We're going to see Camille taken away by the Bristol Brawlers. One last ban for this phase. Then we get to see what is our highest priority as we come to the picks. Big champions still on the table. The likes of Xayah, Rakan, Kai'Sa, all still there.
See, they don't want to pick base bot lane, so they ban the Caitlyn and the Morgana, 2 of the best bot laners for creating that pick-based environment. But we did see last week that the Caitlyn Morgana was actually effectively countered by just going Nautilus and flashing on the AD carry with a Q. So Morgana Caitlyn was one of the primary bot lanes, but because of the way supports are right now, it only really blocks Xayah Rakan, and with that Rakan first pick, you have to assume that's what they're planning to go for.
We'll see whether Xayah is taken away in response to try and deny this bot lane lovers duo. That's exactly what is going to happen. So we're going to see Gelatin Skeleton, another wonderful name by the way, picking this one up. What do we want to see alongside it now that you can't have the Rakan?
I want to see the Gragas. Gragas is probably the highest priority jungler still remaining. It is a very strong pick, and you just go jungle here because it means you show the least, and you don't really have to overcommit to, like, I'm blocking in the mid lane or a top laner here where you just get easily counterpicked. But you still get a solid pick in the Jarvan. You still end up with a pick that can effectively synergize with the Xayah, because obviously you put down the Cataclysm, she lays all the feathers down on top of it. It makes it so much easier to trap somebody in that pit. And right now you see the Kai'Sa as well. Really heavy kill lane bot lane.
So often with teams here on Belong Arena Clash, we do see teams sort of just really prioritising their own comfort picks rather than maybe taking the flavour of the month. You know, I think I mentioned 3 specific champions that were first pick potential. They've all come out in the first few picks. You're not happy about that Olaf pick?
No, because you're playing Olaf into Jarvan the 4th, who just does the I'm Jarvan and I'm helping move, where you ult somebody and then flash out with your ult, and then Olaf's just stuck in there. And you can't do anything because, like, yes, you have CC immunity, but that doesn't stop walls.
You got no dash.
Yeah, that you don't have a dash, you don't have a way to escape that. It's the same reason why Anivia is actually quite good into Olaf, because you just wall him off and he can't do anything anymore.
I mean, we'll see exactly what summoners we see the Olaf deciding to run. Obviously, in solo queue, quite often you get the Ghost Smite Olaf coming through, trying to get on top of you.
See,
not
I
sure.
think that's just not consistent enough
I'm
anymore.
not sure you can afford to do that with, especially with Jarvan around.
Yeah, when they changed the slow on his Q a while back, because he was the best jungler for quite a long time, that did fall off quite a lot. He kind of needs the flash to be able to stick to people now. He even runs Chilling Smite just to be able to guarantee he lands that first Q.
Meanwhile, Pyke was the final pickup for the Bristol Brawlers. We now jump into the second phase of bans, and mid laners are the order of the day. Kassadin and Victor both taken off the table.
Victor's been buffed a couple times. We've seen the changes come through where the ultimate now can travel over terrain when you upgrade it. The W upgrade means all of your spells get a Rise effect on it somehow. It can be pretty nuts, and they're still saying he's not performing to the level we want him to, so we're going to buff all his numbers again.
Yeah, it's sort of scary. Speaking of sort of scary, no Aatrox or Fizz this time, two pretty potent champions who can solo carry a game on their own if given the opportunity. They're not going to be coming through. Instead, we're now going to see whether top or mid is prioritised by the Bristol Brawlers. Who are they going to want to counterpick for? Looks like that Corki lock-in says mid laner. That's going to be Thane taking that one.
See, of course, the Corki's a decent blind pick here. You can't really talk down to the Corki. He's going to be able to survive lane. He scales up really decently, and you look at this team, and it scales really well because it's got that double AD carry. That mid-game sort of 2-3 item spike is going to be brutal, but you have to think about how do they get there without the Olaf causing issues, the Rakan causing issues, and you need to see a proactive mid laner paired with this now, somebody who can punish the Corki. And Ahri with Glacial Augment perhaps is the option there. I did already allude to it,
yep.
And that plus a Rakan and an Olaf is the perfect system you need to be able to catch people out of position, lock them down, and run them down the lane.
Great call early on, shouting that one out is exactly what we're going to see. Rumble, the final lock-in coming in. Nice Penta going to get themselves a little bit of AP in the top lane. Makes a lot of sense when you look at the rest of the composition.
Yeah, the Rumble, the Hot Pocket combination, as we like to call it. Of course, you land the Cataclysm, you throw the Rumble out across the center of it. You've got the Corki who can fire skill shots into there. Xayah, of course, can fire her feathers into there and pull them back. Pyke can obviously jump in there with his ult. You've got the perfect setup to be able to AoE burst 2 or 3 members when they're caught out of position. And this is a great sort of ease of execution. Everybody presses all your R buttons. AoE team fight that we were talking about. And no sort of 1-3-1s.
And then on the back of it, any low health bar as well, you've got yourselves a Pyke ult as well. So one of, I think we've talked about it probably 185,000 times on the stream, but I hate Pyke a lot. You know, it's my permaban champion. There's never a game that I let it through unless my team is first picking it. And here we're going to see it on the side of the Bristol Brawlers, and that is exactly why I'm going to put them down as my favourites to win this game.
But we are back.
Pyke wins.
We are back to the classic setup that we've been seeing. One team wants an all-in AoE team fight. You look at the Rakan, the Jarvan, the Cataclysm on top of the Equalizer combos that you have there. But on the other side, it's very much more of a 1-3-1 setup. You have the Ahri, who can split the map very effectively, especially if she's running Glacial. You have Vladimir, who can sit in a side lane quite effectively as well, both of them running TP. They want to split the map up and roam effectively with the Rakan, with the Olaf, with that Ahri being able to move between lanes as well. And if they are able to set that up and facilitate that, this pick comp, playing a 1-3-1 setup, will be able to shut down the 5v5 by never allowing them to get that grouped up team fight that they want.
My hatred of Pyke has led me to put my vote onto the Bristol camp. What are you going to go for going into this, based on the compositions as we see them?
See, because of the ease of execution, it's so easy to say Brawlers here, but I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say that the pick composition is going to split the map up enough. They aren't going to know how to respond to it, and they aren't going to be able to layer those abilities as effectively as they'd want to, because everybody's going to be so disparate.
Alrighty, well, you've heard what the casters think. Get your votes out there. Quite often I get an opportunity to go through the VODs, to have a little look at what Twitch chat are saying, and last week I can tell you that Twitch chat were pretty wrong in terms of their hashtag predictions. All 3 of the people who responded were, way off the money. So, you better do better today. Let us know, hashtag Bristol or hashtag Cardiff. Who do you think are going to be picking up this victory? While you're out there on the interwebs, why don't you check out the Twitter vote that is going on right now and have a say in what outfit you get to see yours truly wearing for our Halloween special next week.
So what are the options?
So our options are, I believe the mask is currently leading. Really, guys? Lee? My name
You know,
has apparently changed.
That's actually been left on there last week from Martin, hasn't it?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Martin. The options for the four I'm very happy with anniversary to our producer Martin, who left that little treat for us there. The options are the mask, the classic Jim Carrey, Stanley Ipkiss, Stanley Barker. Take what you will from that. I believe it's currently winning with the vote. Also, you can have Surgeon Shen if you prefer a bit of a league theme. Count Stanula is an option, or you could go back to my very first ever cosplay I did, which is Rorschach from Watchmen.
See, can somebody, if you come in as Shen, just edit two of you next to each other?
You'd have to do it as well, I think. That's how it works.
I just get out and then they edit you sitting here.
I mean, that just sounds like it'd be a much better cast. But
okay. Okay, we're throwing down the gauntlet here today, are we?
I mean, we both know that's not even a little bit true. But meanwhile, I think we'll leave it as a surprise for next week. But I've heard what your outfit is already decided. You don't do any of these silly Twitter polls.
Oh no! I just decided.
Yeah, you just went boom, doing it, and I
don't have the money
to
get 4 different costumes in time.
Oh no! In fairness, I don't have the money to get any different extra costumes at the moment. That's why I've had to go with 4 existing ones. The fifth option would have been Danger Mouse, but I feel the mask would have been a bit of an issue. So anyway, at Greyheart99, go and vote on that poll.
The inside of it.
I think it's been retweeted by Twitter's Belong Arenas as well. So get yourselves on there. Have a little say in what the casters are going to be wearing. Well, one of the casters is going to be wearing next week. And most importantly, make sure you're tuning in next week because we're going to have some fantastic games. We're going to have the Halloween fun. It's going to be great fun.
Yeah, definitely so. But we're getting back to this game quickly. We are going to have to see who executes better, because we're saying it's about the 5v5 versus the 1-3-1, but at the same time, you got to look at the individual matchups here. You've got like Ari going into the mid lane up against Corki. She does have some kill pressure in this lane. If she's gone for the electrocute route, which is still an option, the kill pressure is much higher. You go that plus ignite, but you fall off a lot harder if you aren't able to execute on those kills. That's why you see a lot more people going for TP plus Glacial Augment in this more team-based environment, because even if you don't get those solo kills in lane, even if you don't snowball hard, you still have the ability to make plays in the mid-game and facilitate your team in a much more active way.
Yeah, send those spooky ghosts out, leave people slowed for absolute days. The rest of the team comes along, your charm connects, and,
the
Bob's
Super
your uncle.
Soaker,
or in my case, my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, you get out the Super Soaker your granddad bought, you just spray it across the enemy team, and that slow field on the ground.
Why do you keep saying the Super Soaker my granddad bought me? I've been through this already. It's a sore point for me saying my granddad did not buy me a Super Soaker. I had a Poundland pistol. I lost every water fight. I didn't even get water bombs. I didn't even get to I didn't get to cosplay Ziggs throwing the water bombs out. No, they just gave me balloons and said good luck.
I mean, yeah, but that's what you do. You get a balloon, you fill it with water. That's the point, is it not?
I think not just like a birthday balloon, no, generally. Anyway, we've got action on the Rift. The Cardiff Saints are going big early on. They're stacked up as 5.
Like one of the balloon animal balloons.
The Rakana's
3 foot long, filled with water.
Rakana's dashed off all on his lonesome and is now in behind the Xayah. Will we see any attempted kind of play with the remaining 4 members? There is obviously a charm here waiting.
What they're looking to do is they're looking to all walk out at the same time and bait the
into
Xayah into walking towards the Rakan. Unfortunately, do it a little bit too late, but they wanted her to walk in towards the Rakan, get knocked up, and instantly CC chained, which would have easily been a kill. We are going to see that TP plus Glacial Augment, so that wasn't wrong of me to talk about it the entire time.
No.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. That wasn't a complete tangent that we just decided to jump off on. Meanwhile, Squirrel is here looking at his red buff, longingly waiting for that camp to appear so he can devour it in style and claim that buff, with which he will be able to impact as many lanes as possible. And I feel like early pressure in lanes from the junglers is going to be so crucial in this game.
See, as a Rumble main, whenever I play top lane, I'm actually disappointed in Nice Penta Idiot right now. The way the game has changed for Rumble is you actually run your Doran's Ring again in the top lane for Rumble. It's actually so much more, because you get the bonus damage on hit to minions on auto attacks. The mana regen doesn't matter. You get 2 potions for it, you get the health from it, and you get that health on that damage on hit rather when you attack minions to make it easier to CS. It's so much more important than the regen you get from Doran's shield right now.
Okay, well, let's see whether or not Nice Penta Idiot really knows what he's doing, or will he be the idiot his name tails to? It certainly will be if he gets himself a penta kill, which, let's be honest, everyone's hoping there's going to be at least one of them in this game, because it's always one of the most hyped things you can see.
Yeah, but you could say that in any game.
Yeah, absolutely.
In any game, you could easily just turn around and go, okay, yeah, if there's a penta this game, it might be good.
Well, yeah, but even better when you've got a guy called Nice Penta Idiot, and even better if he then gets it. Just the way I see it.
So I'm actually looking at the way this bot lane's playing out already, because the bot lane is heavily early favored towards the Kai'Sa and the Rakan. Both of them want to play aggressive, both of them want to play forward. and try and get some kill pressure early, because you know that the Xayah in the mid game is so much safer, and you've got this Pyke to help facilitate picks as well. There's a lot of opportunity that you have to try and pin into this lane, because if Kai'Sa is allowed to free scale, you're going to do better than Xayah.
And already having all of the free push, Pyke not even in a position to try and land some of those bone skills. We do see the recall coming through there from Jarvan right on top of a ward, so full awareness for the Cardiff Saints of what their opposition jungler is doing. Olaf currently just taking that blue buff away. If he does decide to walk anywhere near the Rumble, he is going to find that Rumble has actually just decided to sweep him out. So even more information in terms of where the Olaf is right now.
Yeah, this is a problem though, because even if he has got that ward there, the wave is freezing away from him, and Olaf is on the top side of the map. And there's going to be that blast cone there for him to avoid that ward entirely. So that's actually a very poorly placed ward, you have to say.
Meanwhile, we do see that Pyke was trying to take that Scuttle Crab, and it's taking a lot of damage for his troubles. The dash forward is going to land the knocker. Pyke has an ignite backing down. He flashes away, he uses the flag, he uses the drag, but he's not able to get out of dodge. It's going to be the first kill of this game, going over to Sign Up Sprinter, returning from last split, and already in with a kill.
The flash charm from Yamako there, securing the kill and not able to help turn that one around. Ends up just being flash for flash, and the ignite burned, but first blood so crucially to that bot lane, giving them full control.
Knock up not quite going to land on the Pyke, does return with a stun of his own. Meanwhile, you can see that Gelatin Skeleton is eating more than his fair share of poke.
And so this is an issue right now, because he can't leave this lane. He's already fallen 10 CS down, and it's getting worse.
And a red buff as well there, gained by the Rakan, just going to make life even more disgusting for the Bristol Brawlers, as we see those attacks now burning. Meanwhile, that is going to be a nice pullback. Dashing away from the stun is going to leave Sign Up Sprinter without any mana. I'm sure he was wishing that red buff were a blue buff right now.
And this is still a good situation for them, because they have full control. They're zoning the wave so heavily away from Xayah at all phases, to the point where they keep getting allowed to land all the poke they want to. And so even though they're out of mana, they're keeping up the pressure, and they don't have to back off.
On the back of that first kill, we suddenly see a massive disparity between the two jungler CS. 32 for the Olaf, only 20 for the Jarvan, who's a kill down. Look at that grab back. It is going to mean Sign Up Sprinter does take a turret shot. He's going to go a little bit low, but he's a Rakan. He's safe for now.
And that's going to be easy base timer there. Now they're both out of mana anyway, and there's not really much that Gelatin Skeleton and Addy can do about it. Perfect timing as well, as the Jarvan was starting to look towards that bot side.
All this bone skill is going to connect. That's the dash forward. That's Sign Up Sprinter trying to get himself out. In the end, he has to use his flash, has the ignite down on top of him. Gelatin Skeleton trying to put the damage down. The feathers are being pulled back. That's going to be Gelatin Skeleton looking to get another kill, but here is Olaf Squirrel running straight down the lane. Addy trying to get himself out to safety, and I do believe Bristol Brawlers are okay for now.
And not having to overcommit there, but unfortunately did have to blow his flash, did Sign Up Sprinter.
And the heal as well.
Yeah, just not respecting the hook from Pyke enough. You could see that they stopped the recall. They were well aware it was there, but they didn't end up recalling under their tower for safety. They allowed them to stop the recall, and now they're pinned in lane with very little health, very little mana. And right now, just the moment this Olaf's gone, there could be an engage from Addy. They've still both got flash. The heal's there from Gelatin Skeleton. They can win a 2v2.
And Addy is stepping forward, and immediately we see Sign Up Sprinter and Vitoro just having to step away from that minion wave. Gelatin Skeleton finally getting a little bit of time just to try and pick up a bit of CS.
Just look at how the CS has changed back, though, because they have to play with such respect.
Grab connects is going to be the flash away from Vitoico. Gelatin Skeleton is very, very low, but not as low as Sign Up Sprinter. He dashes away just as the feathers are pulled back through his body. That's going to be Rakan living for now, not taken down by his lover.
If that Blade Caller had worked and you'd actually been able to get the root on him, that would have been an easy kill for Gelatin Skeleton. The entire game's turned on its head because of that recall being cancelled, and the lack of respect from this bot lane has caused them issues, as almost again the recall would have been cancelled, which would have been devastating.
I'm pretty sure that was a blind hook that landed very, very, very close. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we have seen Vladimir putting a bit of poke down onto the Rumble, pretty equal in terms of health bars, an 8 CS lead already gained by Vladimir.
See, the way this matchup is meant to go, and one of the reasons, of course, you go for the Doran's Ring, is for that AP, so you can, once you get the Q points in, you can shove the wave hard. That's the whole point of Rumble. The first couple levels you struggle, but once you get all your points in Q, you're meant to shove them back, pin them under tower.
Interesting little point here is that the Jarvan was waiting there. We saw him in base. I was wondering just what item it would be that was so crucial that he wanted to stay an extra 10 seconds in his base. Turned out to be the Ruby Crystal, which indicates to me it's going to be the Cinderhulk Jarvan rather than Warrior.
That's more standard in today's meta. Especially with the comp they've got, he doesn't need to be a key damage source here. He just needs to ult in and survive once he's ulted in.
Meanwhile, Gelatin Skeleton gets away from the dash, and we are going to see Addy coming straight back in, trying to get a stun. Not quite able to do it. Is going to heal up to 100%. Might be slight nerfs to the health of Pyke, but it's just not making a big difference right now. Not Pyke, but Olaf instead is able to pick up that Ocean Dragon, the first of the game for the Cardiff Saints.
You can see, though, in the mid lane, small CS lead being eked out for Thane, which is working out for him, and giving him that CS advantage is going to help him scale towards that Triforce, where we know he's looking to fight, but in the bot lane again.
Oh, the plasma landed on Gelatin
It's like
Skeleton,
every
but
hook.
immediately just pulling those feathers back through. Sign-Up Sprint, who dashes forward, gets another attack onto Gelatin Skeleton, who is so very, very low and surely must recall shortly.
Just a
does not
W,
want to
though.
lose any of this CS, is hanging around, and Sign-Up Sprint looking for the connection. It's going to put the Ignite down. Is that going to be enough? It is! Zaya burns down, Sign-Up Sprinter getting one. Now Addy looking for a return of kills, does not have the ultimate available. Flashed in, did not even manage to get the kill, and Sign-Up Sprinter, things going well for the Cardiff Saints bot lane.
And it seemed when he got hit by the Blade Caller that it was all said and done for him, but barely manages to escape and gets Gelatin Skeleton's life in the meantime, as now Squirrel's going to stop the recall here as well.
Oh, Addy is able to dash away, is able to get this done, but is now completely caught between a rock and a hard place. He's going to get himself dashed away, but it's going to mean so many turret plates being picked up by the Cardiff Saints, and a much delayed recall for Addy.
There's going to be a couple shards here for the bot lane. But this bot lane has been on a knife's edge for so long here, where the Kai'Sa has been so close to just snowballing out of control, and the Zaya almost turned it around because of those issues with the recall. But right now, because of these coin flip plays, both coin flips have gone in favor of the Saints, and that now means that they sit with a 1.5k gold lead almost entirely through this bot lane. Because you look at the rest of the map, jungle CS even, top CS slightly in their favor, but the mid lane evens that out.
And a lot of that gold has got to be on Sign-Up Sprinter. He's the only person in the game with kills at the moment. Not perhaps the champion the Cardiff Saints would have wanted him to be on, but they'll be happy nonetheless.
But the thing that it does net them is not only the kills on him, you get the assist gold on onto the Kai'Sa, which obviously helps, but it's the experience advantage and the control of the way that they've been able to dictate, which has given them the control to be able to get that first Ocean Drake we saw Squirrel pick up early.
Potential 3v3 is brewing. Prige gets caught out, has to flag and drag away, keeps getting caught out by the Axes, already having used his E, already having used his Q. He is in a little bit of
He still
danger.
has
Meanwhile, in
flash.
top lane, we do see Nice Pen to Idiot is just getting a bit of damage down onto the Vladimir. Meanwhile, we see a very, very early usage there of the Ragnarok just to get away from that Bone Skewer.
Yeah, doesn't want to have to blow the ultimate while in range of the execute from Pyke, just ends up using it early to avoid the potential of that snowball in the bot lane, because we know, we've talked about it before, one kill with the ultimate from Pyke is so devastating to your team's gold lead.
Okay, meanwhile in the top lane we've got still that 8 CS advantage that we saw earlier for Firelegs. Still keeping things pretty strong, has not managed to get himself a turret plate just yet. Meanwhile 2 turret plates have gone over to Kai'Sa, so even more in the gold in the pocket of this bot lane.
See, neither jungler has been called up to the top side right now, and you know where the item spikes are for these two. Either Vladimir's going for the I want to stay as late as possible and go for the Spellbinder.
Ultimate was blown there on Yannico, but he keeps himself safe.
Is if he wants to go for the Spellbinder, he needs to stay in lane for as long as possible, but what the Rumble wants is to get Blasting Wand plus Amp Tome, or just straight like Haunting guys and continue to push the lane. I assume here he wants to rush Morellonomicon, so he wants that magic penetration early. Instead, he hasn't based in so long that Vladimir's outscaling him in levels because there's no items.
It's going to be Cardiff Saints looking for the potential engage. We are going to see the charm landing onto Gelatin Skeleton, already flashing away, but so very, very low. Uses the feather recall, is going to be able to get to safety for now. Has got Page waiting in the wings. However, just one little bit of plasma could catch on to Gelatin Skeleton. That's exactly what happens, and Vito Rowe gets a kill.
Vitero finishing that one off with the plasma, not respecting the W from Kai'Sa. You always need to be aware of it, and he gets punished.
I'm far from the most respectable player myself, but even I was worried about the plasma coming through, and in the end that is exactly what catches out Gelatin Skeleton, who burned the flash and still goes down. Meanwhile, Addy does not manage to land a Bone Skewer on Sign-Up Sprinter this time. We are going to see turret shots catching onto Vito Rowe. Jarvan is hovering in the wings, but he's not able to stop yet another turret plate going down.
And finally, Rumble based, he's picked up that double magic penetration in the top lane. He can finally win out this matchup. And you see, with the timing though, he's recalled, he's TP'd back to lane, but Olaf's just going, nah, I don't care about that. I'm going to take the Rift Herald while all this is going on. He's been very good at being objective focused, and nobody has been picking this up. Nobody's been warding it out.
Sign-Up Sprinter is just so constantly aggressive, always looking towards any target he can possibly get his wings on, and at the moment that's just buying even more time for the rest of the team to do what they want. And like you say, Olaf has now got the Herald in his pocket, ready to crush that eye any moment he wants to. Pick up some extra turret plates, might use in the bottom lane, possibly to even end that laning phase for the the ADC and support in the bot lane, take away the first turret of the game, and with the second dragon of the game coming up in mere moments, that could be exactly what we see.
Okay, so he's probably just going to go Raptors, Red, Krugs into drop Herald, bot lane, and recall. So it will give him the optimal reset. He'll have full control of the map to be able to dictate the tempo from there on out and give the bot lane a nice amount of gold at the same time. So he's going to been doing really well so far. He's had the objective control that we talked about, and maybe even dropping this Herald bot lane will be enough to secure them this dragon.
And let's see if that's the play that we get to see. Meanwhile, in the top lane, yet more wet noodle fights between the two AP heavy champions. Cyno Sprinter does dash into a little bit of trouble, but he dashes to the safety of Vitoro, trying to put as much damage as possible. Hyde is here. AD is just going so very, very low, not able to get any further, and it's going to be Squirrel who gets that kill. Meanwhile, we do see Gelatin Skeleton dropping as well. That's going to be 2 for the Olaf. The Cataclysm is not enough to pick up a kill, and that's going to be Ari getting 1 on the backside too. 3-0 in favour of the Cardiff Saints. They get a dragon on the back of it as well.
And I went out on a limb and said that the layering of the abilities wouldn't come through from the Brawlers, that the Cardiff Saints would be able to split them up well enough and use their numbers advantage to be able to get picks, and that's been what we've been seeing so far. Skrull and Yamako, they're perfectly in time to set up that fight. We've seen time and time again Synapse Sprinter just outplay Addy's engages, constantly dashing out of these hooks as Addy overcommits to try and get the stun.
Alright, so the Herald is still available for Olaf as well, and first turret is almost certain to fall. There it is in the bot lane, not even needing to use Shelly. So now you've got another set of turret plates that are available. I don't think that Herald's going to be able to go down in time though, because turret plates fall off in 14 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately is a bit too late. He might be looking to use it here as he realizes he's walking mid, but no, ends up just backing off as I'm not sure why he didn't use it for the turret plates unless he's looking to use it on a push in future to secure themselves a turret. But it seems like the opportunity for that is nearing gone unless you fully lane swap right here, and they need to be doing that very shortly to secure that advantage.
Well, I was thinking there's a potential that we even see the interlaning phase, and now with Kaiser and Rakan appearing in the mid lane, that could be exactly what we have. And but nope, looks like Ari will continue the 1-2-1 sort of push that we have been getting so far, except now we get our, not our Lovers bot lane, but instead our Kaiser Rakan bot lane becoming a mid lane.
They've moved up because they want the Kaiser to match. They want to split the laning phase and go for this 1-3-1 setup that we've been looking for from them, to be able to split them up and create picks, create advantages where the Ahri can roam around, where the Ahri can make picks in the river, and you've got this safe mid lane matchup where they just can't be engaged on that easily in such short lane.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, a lot of these trades seem to be being picked up by Filex, looking pretty good so far. Got himself now a 16 CS advantage, to double those numbers that we heard about earlier on. Has got at least a little bit of damage onto that turret as well. I'm not sure if he got turret plates to go with it for a bit of extra gold. Meanwhile, Yamako there throwing out the Hexstep GDP is going to be able to get a bit of a slow onto the opposition. Surely the Herald must be summoned shortly.
See, this is what I'm worried about here, though, because we see from the top laner here and in the Vladimir that he's gone for the engage.
That's going to be the charm, that's going to be a knockup, that's going to be the dead Jarvan. In goes the Rakan, out goes the health bars of J4, and that's going to be a nice easy pickup for the Cardiff Saints. And with the dead jungler, that surely has got to be the trigger for pushing hard onto this mid lane. Meanwhile, we do see Filex managing to take quite a few turret shots. However, the overcharge is going to be meaning Rumble is able to put down less damage than he would have been liking to. That's going to be the Herald pushing on forward, hasn't quite managed to take down the kill first. That's going to be Pyke jumping straight in, getting one execute, flashing himself out, and he gets a 1 for nothing and stops the turret going down.
That's so crucial, denying a lot of the gold that they would have gained there and getting that kill for his team. You can see he's got the cut in his pocket as well. One of the issues here right now is they're trying to go for 5v5s, but Vladimir's still sitting top. Nice
penta in, it is going to fall. Filex Mamo with the Hemo Plague is able to absolutely obliterate the Rumble under his own turret. Meanwhile, this turret that was denied earlier on is just about to fall. Meanwhile, Pyke looking for a potential flank, but it's just not quite happening. He dashes on forward, he's looking for the bone skill, managed to catch it onto Ari, but Vitoro gets the kill. In comes the Corki. He had the package and he delivered it, but does not get a kill. Instead, he sees his Zaya falling to the grave. Corki takes down the Olaf, but immediately Jarvan dies in return. That's going to be a double kill for the Kaiser, and just like that, the Cardiff Saints have complete control of this game.
And they tried to fight when there was such an advantage already for the Saints. They get picked out. They get picked off 1 by 1, and now a 5-0-6 Kaiser.
How do you deal with that?
You can't deal with this. And just moments before, I was about to criticize the Vladimir here for going for this more lane-focused build, saying that he's gone for the Proto belt. You normally see the Vladimirs nowadays go for Spellbinders and try and go for Teamfight because The proto belt is, I'm going to kill my lane opponent. I have to kill my lane opponent with this item. This is what this is going for. And I didn't think he'd be able to kill the Rumble. He proved me instantly wrong, punished him under his tower before he had the Morellonomicon completed. And this team is snowballing at all lanes.
Oh, Vito Rowe lands the plasma, does have all that damage available to come through. Jarvan manages to land a knockup, but just doesn't have any damage in return because he's gone for this Cinderhole build. And now here's Ari in the backside. We did see the Rumble Equalizer being put down just for a bit of protection for the Jarvan. He managed to keep himself alive, but two key summoners there, an ultimate was burned by the Bristol Brawlers, who just don't seem to be getting anything out of this trades.
Bristol Brawlers just unable to make anything happen with their layering of abilities. Like we said, they needed to look for the Hot Pocket combo. They needed the everybody to be in place in this 5v5. And Saints, because of the way they've split the map, because of the way they've assigned their lanes, they're never allowing them to have all 5 members. All their combo is split up around the map. They're going in one by one, and they're being picked off one by one.
And Sid, not only is this Kai'Sa 506, it's also 160 CCS. Just about to complete a key back now. We're going to see what items are coming into the pocket. That's going to be a completed Rage Blade. And just like that, this Kai'Sa is well and truly online.
So she's got a Q upgrade and her E upgrade. You can see she's now going for a BF sword, meaning she's more likely to go for the Infinity Edge Runans build, you have to say, where she's going to be going for that hyper AD setup, knowing that she's got these 2 heavy AP solo lanes is the correct choice, you have to say. But it's just still, like, it's a slower scaling build, and she can afford to go for it because she's got that much of a lead.
With 2 turrets taking on that push in the mid lane, it is now the Dragon that is the next objective potentially for these 2 teams. You've got to feel like the Cardiff Saints will be able to take this Cloud Dragon pretty much unopposed.
And exactly that, because that bot lane tower is gone, because the mid lane tower is gone, the vision pressure is not there for them to be able to walk into the river. They've got that 1 ward in that river brush. Beyond that, they can't step in. They need to be able to walk all the way up to that dragon without any kind of contest of wards. And seeing they're all just being cleared out, if they try to step forward, they know that the Glacial Ari is there to stop them. They know that the Rakan engage is there to stop them. It's just too much to bear. And here's another potential solo kill.
Another potential all in. We do see the Equalizer put down. We see Nice Panda Idiot's health bar being absolutely decimated. In the end, it is completely deleted. Philex Mamo with another solo kill up in the top lane. And what do you do if you're the Bristol Brawlers? In the in pick and ban, we said that they wanted a team fight. They wanted to group up and force these 5v5s. They've not had a single opportunity to do that because you've got this mad Vladimir up in the top lane, which means Rumble's never able to join the fight. They're losing all the fights that they force. What can they do?
Well, generally what you want to do at this point is wait for a key fight around an objective, because you know they have to group up as 5 for a Baron or a Dragon, as Thane always being taken down so easily.
Kai'Sa flashed in, Killer Instinct in, got the kill, got out, and this is just an absolute obliteration. The Cardiff Saints are so dominant.
You're saying wait for an objective, there's no time to wait, and there's not going to be any objectives left by the time they have the items they need. This game is all but done as the Cardiff Saints have dominated.
This is the most impressive performance I think we have seen this Arena Clash split so far. Cardiff Saints really setting their stall out, showing why they are such a strong team in this tournament. And right now, Vito Rowe and Synapse Sprinter are looking almost unstoppable.
And where they want to fight is around key objectives, around inhibitors, around big tower fights where you can get all members as 5, but they've picked off members before they're going for these sieges. Olaf can just take a dragon on his own. There's no need for them to ever group up as 5, and that means it's so hard for the engage from Bristol Brawlers to ever come through when everybody is splitting the map so effectively.
And again, credit to you, Sid, because you said it during Pick and Ban. You said 1-3-1. If they execute it well, I'm picking them to win. Right now, your faith in them is being rewarded in a big way because the 1-3-1 is being beautifully executed. We saw the 3 men there mid. They get pushed off. Well, guess what? Ari's almost taking a turret in bot. Vladimir's shoving in top. They're looking absolutely clinical.
And this is also the case that we said that the Bristol Brawlers are going to struggle to know how to respond to the split map. They need to either collapse aggressively onto one of the side lanes and force a fight there, or be able to catch people out on rotations between lanes. They've never made an effort to push the vision into the jungle to be able to catch people out on rotations, and they've never made the effort, even though they've got the package, they've got the Jarvan, they've got the Pike, to collapse on a side lane either. That's what they needed to do to be able to respond. And when you've got an Ari who's so safe, and a Vladimir who's also so safe, it's very difficult to do so. Even so, you need to force them off, you need to find and engage, and only just hitting level 10 now for Thane. It's too weak right now. You need like the level 2 ultimates from everybody, and it's just too little too late. By the time it's going to be relevant, Baron's already going to be gone.
Yep, a really valid point with Pudge so close to level 11 but not quite having it. Does mean he's not got all the extra damage coming out of the Cataclysm. I just feel like ever since Pudge got caught out in the river near his own jungle and then obviously gave away First Blood in the end to sign up Sprinter, ever since that moment it feels like the Cardiff Saints have been the ones on the front foot.
Definitely so, but I want to look at the Vladimir here as well because, like we mentioned, he went for that. He went for the Hextech Starburst, the Proto Belt, the Rocket Pack, whatever you want to call it. The basically strap jet boosters to your spine.
That sounds amazing.
I know, it's great. But the item is very lane focused. You use it to be able to engage quickly onto your opponent, burst them out, and it's an extra tool for burst. It gives him some AP as well because it goes for the health, gives him some CDR, gives him everything he wants, but it's not the team fight build you see. He normally goes, ooh.
Sign Up Sprinter goes with the charm, manages to catch straight onto the Corki. Vito Rowe with his 7th kill of the game, the Killer Instinct, and he's going to be dashing back. But dashing forward, we are going to see Olaf getting one. Kaiser gets the 2nd of this kill. Olaf does finally get taken down by the Equalizer. That's going to be Rumble going golden. Vilex hovering around, just waiting for this kill. In the end, he's going to get it as well. And just like that, the complete wipe, the ace. This could be the game at 23 minutes.
And just like we're about to say, the death cap pays dividends because that is a team fight item. Vladimir was ready for the 5v5 now, and the team had snowballed so much farther ahead than the Brawlers that a 5v5 is just so easy for them to win.
The game is so sort of short into having recently started that the death timers are so short. AD's going to be back alive in a moment. I'm not sure there's anything the Brawlers can do to stop the Saints from taking this game. They've already taken down one Nexus turret. They turn their attention towards the second. Here comes the defensive squadron. They all get caught out by the Super Soaker, and I'm still quite bitter about that. The Bristol Brawlers looking for one last big defense. The Feather Recall is not going to get any kind of stun. That's going to be a nice pullback landing onto Vladimir. He immediately pulls. He's got the Ignite burning down. The Cataclysm, however, is only going to mean the doom of Jarvan the 4th. Meanwhile, Addy going in for the death from below, not able to do anything. Kaiser gets the double kill, and surely just like that, the game will be ended. Vitoro dodging away from all the damage. Meanwhile, Filex goes golden. He's not quite going to be able to survive for long. Yes, he is, because he pulls. He lives. The knockup from Sign Up Sprint and Gelatin Skeleton trying to put damage down, but can't even contest against this absolutely monstrous Kaiser, who now has the Nexus as the full attention. Killer Instinct being used, trying to get one more kill to pad out the stats. 12-0-9 are the numbers, and the game goes over to the Cardiff Saints.
And in such a bloody game, to only have 3 deaths in the entirety of it to the 24 kills they got is a testament to how well they played it. And throughout, we saw this Kaiser being a menace. We saw the Ahri do its job, facilitate those engages, facilitate the team by landing those charms, slowing the enemy down and allowing the Kaiser to chase. And it gave the team exactly what they needed to capitalize on the advantage and snowball in the mid-game.
What an incredible performance from the Cardiff Saints. Last week's in the super healthy restaurant that we choose to dine in after our cast, we talked with our producer about sort of mental boom and how maybe it shouldn't be used as an excuse, but it is something that very much can happen. If you're the Bristol Brawlers, how do you come back from such an absolutely... It was more oblivion than defeat.
We talked about it at the time, but you got to be the Iceman here. You got to come out and put every game separate from the last. Of course, you want to analyze that game and go, where did we go wrong? Why did our strategy not work? But then once you're in-game, all of that has to be out the window. You've got your strategy. You know what you're aiming to do. You know exactly what you've got to do to make it succeed. Just focus on that next game.
Well, that's exactly what the Bristol Brawlers will have to do if they want to come back and take this series all the way to its full best-of-3 conclusion. If not, it's going to be the Cardiff Saints, who are looking like one of the most dominating teams we've seen in Belong Arena Clash.
That was pretty scary, yeah.
Obviously, it's tough to compare. This is against one team. We don't know whether at the end of the day Bristol Brawlers are going to be one of the other teams that's sort of a top team challenging themselves. Were we just seeing our, cream of the crop against our yesterday's milk? But regardless, that's still pretty impressive because none of these teams here at Arena Clash are slouches that have just come together and like Martin never played a game of League before and don't know what to don't know how to kill Krugs. These are good teams regardless, and Cardiff Saints just made that look easy.
It definitely looked like an easy performance from them, but it was very nuanced in terms of how you looked at it. It was Vladimir winning out the solo lane by utilizing the base timings effectively. He didn't allow the Rumble to get back a base at any time, so by the time that Rumble had gotten back to base, Vladimir had so many items to pick up that he wasn't afraid of him anymore. That double magic penetration didn't matter anymore. He easily came back into lane, got a solo kill with that Proto Belt, and it was just so easy for him to continue snowballing from then on out. The bot lane, we saw it nearly go wrong a couple times, but the moment the jungler got involved, easy win from them there. And the mid lane just facilitating the rest of the map, facilitating those rotations. And I was just really happy to see how the team adapted to their opponents and responded so aptly to every decision made by the Brawlers.
Here at the Arena Clash, we do have a sort of a fluid swapping of sides between the games. So we are now going to see the Bristol Brawlers going over to the blue side. With that Rakan having been picked first in the last game, I really can't see it going on to Sign Up Sprinter again.
I definitely wouldn't expect Sign Up Sprinter to be able to get that one and go for at least not the same matchup. You don't want Pyke into Rakan because you've seen that Rakan just dashes out the way of your stun if you land a hook. It doesn't matter. You need to engage with a flash stun onto the AD carry. That's the only way you can make it work as Pyke in that scenario. Hooking the Rakan just doesn't work for you. They can't buy into that matchup. So I'm expecting bot lane to be a bit different, and we saw it be pretty coin flip last time. If we see the coin land on the opposite side, maybe this game looks very different. Maybe the Xayah's got control. Maybe Pyke is able to roam first to mid lane and get that snowball rolling. And that is all you need to see the Bristol Brawlers have an opportunity to at least make their composition work.
That was a lot of maybes there, Sin, and that's a lot that's got to come together for things to change in favour of the Bristol Brawlers. But you know what? I, for one, wish them the best of luck. I kind of feel like they're my rivals in a way. They're sort of the Everton to my Liverpool. They're the Man City to Man United, because I'm a Bristol Brawlers fan. And, you know, it feels like... sorry, I'm a Bristol Smugglers fan. Whew, don't clip that one. I like the Brawlers, but no, Smugglers all the way. So I kind of feel like they're our noisy neighbours. You know, I want to see the Smugglers succeed and the Brawlers, go down in flames like that. But actually, you know what? Here at Arena Clash, we're all friends. I like to see the Brawlers do well, and that was not the Brawlers doing well.
Yeah, we want to see the Brawlers
Smugglers.
at least. We want to see the Brawlers at least put up more of a fight in the next game, because unfortunately that was pretty one-sided. And the Cardiff Saints, they look strong, but they definitely have the ability to be exploited in that early game. If you split them up, if you end up getting to them before they split up that map, before they spread out, and you've got the Ari on one side, the Vladimir on the other, it is so much easier for you to take them down. It's so much easier for you to win out the game through effective team play as a 5v5 unit, because you can brute force as 5 if you have an advantage early. If you don't get that advantage early, you can't 5v5, because the enemy team will always get the fights on their terms.
Yeah, and then that sort of becomes about as fun as picking up 1,000 pieces of confetti from the floor of a studio.
Hey, that was pretty fun. What do you mean?
Hey, I'm going to call it now. That was totally worth it. Speaking of worth it, just which of the champions from the last game will the Bristol Brawlers decide are worth banning, taking them away from the Cardiff Saints, who looked so strong in the last game? Oh, shock twist, there's the Rakan.
Yeah, I think the Kai'Sa Xayah matchup you're fine with. It's the supports that made the difference. And the Rakan was so much more impactful than the Pyke that game. One ultimate kill from the Pyke did start to make a difference, but it was far too little, far too late, as the mid lane tower was just about to fall. Everybody was already dying, and that snowball never really came.
Here's the key difference between the two teams. The Saints, they're full of confidence. They're able to stick with the bans that they made last time round. I expect to see them being fairly similar this time round, with the Caitlyn and Morgana taken away again. On the other side, the Brawlers are just banning away what absolutely kicked their asses. The Rakan and the Kai'Sa both taken away from Veto Row and Sign Up Sprinter.
See, last time it looked like the Morgana ban was to be taken away so that they couldn't counter the Rakan pick. Now they're still banning it away. Even after banning the Caitlyn, it tells me that they're looking to play probably a Lux support is what I have in mind here.
Okay.
Or something along those lines, a very pick-based support. And there's not really that many of them left. You could even just go for a Nautilus if you wanted to, but a Xayah first pick for Gelatin Skeleton, he wants to play that safe.
Saints stick to the Zac ban. Brawlers change it up, taking away the Olaf away from Squirrel. We have now got quite a few junglers who are available. Last time we saw the Jarvan being highly prioritized. Do you want to see a Gragas slightly more highly prioritized? Does look like this Nautilus could well be the lock-in. You were expecting a Lux support, but here we've got something with even more engaged potential.
Yes, Lux or a Nautilus, something heavily pick-based. Kai'Sa Nautilus is one of the strongest based pick bot lanes at the moment. If you are going for that Kai'Sa, I did not expect them to be able to get the Kai'Sa after the Xayah was locked in on the other side, and they don't even need to rush it.
Kai'Sa's banned.
Yeah, they did. Oh, the Kai'Sa being banned away means they are going to have to go for a different bot lane. So they could go for the likes of the Ezreal still and try and be able to get some snowball through that, but without the Kai'Sa, the aggressive bot lane pool falls down quite a lot.
Sin, thank you for saying the word snowball, because banned away last time. This time we are going to be seeing the Nunu coming through. You were talking about just how potent it could be, how its ganking potential, especially in the early levels, is absolutely crazy. Well, we get to see it for Squirrel this time round. On the other side, interesting, we didn't see this last time round, an early top or mid pick. It's going to be top lane Urgot for Nice Penta Idiot.
Okay, so we assume it's going to be going up into the top lane as a blind pick, because he just wants something safe, really hard to kill.
Could be supporter, Urgot, you never know.
Oh god, please no. But something safe, something nigh unkillable, and they've got a big bruisery front line this time around already between the Urgot and the Hecarim. Unlike we saw last game, very squishy besides the Jarvan, this time focusing on getting a big front line so Xayah can still put down that DPS.
Well, remembering that Vladimir is still available, and you know that's a pick that already Flex has shown he can do so much on. He called that Ezreal straight out of the gate. There it is, going to be paired up with the Nautilus in the bot lane. An unsurprising set there of jungler and support and ADC for the Saints. Slight changes coming in for the Brawlers. Expect to see some potential support bans here, maybe even the Pyke.
So the issue for the Ezreal here is he lacks a lot of wave clear compared to the Xayah. So the Ezreal Nautilus can be just pinned down in the lane. It's very hard to do anything until you start to get those levels, until you start to get like your tier plus Sheen, and you're able to spam out that poke. So it can be very difficult, and I hope that the bot lane can show up the same way they did last time. But without that control from level 1, we could see this be completely turned on its head.
There is the RE taken away. Are we just going to see the 5 champions that won last time banned away? If we see the Vladimir as the final ban, then the set is completed. Meanwhile, the Cardiff Saints have taken away the Victor. As we said, it's quite strong since some of the changes coming to the upgrades. Saints don't want to have that one up against them.
If this is the Aatrox ban, then they've pretty much gone for the same bans as last time themselves. So not really looking to change anything up.
You probably don't need to ban Aatrox when the Urgot's been picked, am I right?
Instead
it's
they're going to ban Soraka. Okay.
Very different to the style of champion we've seen AD play so far today, but if it's something you don't want to go up against, that ultimate sustain in the lane, that press R to heal whole team, then I guess fair enough. Personally, I feel like a Pyke is slightly more likely. We're going to see the final ban be a Kassadin taken away from the mid lane.
We saw that ban last time as well, but we saw last week a very strong Soraka pick, a very strong support Soraka, and we're seeing some of these more mage supports come back more recently, just to play that disengage and help survive bot lane a little bit longer. Because you've got one side that generally wants to play engage and another side that just wants to play weak side.
I think 2 things here to say. Number 1 is that they didn't feel they had to ban the Vlad because they picked the Urgot specifically going, you know what, I feel like I can take on Philex Mamo's Vlad with this champion. And number 2, that Aurelia flex pick, because you do not know where that champion is going to go. That means that in a way you've almost got to counter pick it in 2 ways here. The Echo is going to be the first of them. 1 more pick going to come through. Of course, it is going to be a support pick rather than the top lane, because we've already seen that Urgot, which caught me out.
So I assume the Aurelia is going to go top lane, because this is going to be an Echo mid lane now.
Yep.
Just easy free wave clear, you spam Q, so you need something that can at least contend with him in terms of wave clear in the mid lane. You don't have to get into range, and of course, Xayah Braum, nice combo, high attack speed, get to block a bunch of skill shots. You'll have a nice time.
Yeah, you certainly do, and you know what? You have a nicer time than when you start reading through the cards of Rune Terror, and you go through and you slowly realise what's been happening to the Poro Herder.
Oh no.
Don't, man.
Don't do this.
It's too much of a feels bad. Why do they do this?
Don't do this to me.
Meanwhile, Sign Up Sprinter is going to lock in that final pick, and it is going to be Vayne, baby! Oh,
okay.
It's not going to be Thane on Vayne.
Okay.
That's going to be Ezreal mid, Vayne ADC.
Right, so the Ezreal... I am so happy right now, because I thought this was Ezreal ADC and it made no sense. I'm so glad.
I want to point out, this is my second favourite reaction I've ever seen from you. This is great. But last week, if you'd seen the reaction to one of the outplays that we had, I believe it was the one that actually got given as Player of the Week.
Yeah.
I've never seen any Scottish person so excited. Like, honestly, it was just wonderful.
We're a very nuanced people.
I wish we could replicate it, but we have no way to do it. It was just incredible.
Well, if we see an Ezreal snipe this game, maybe we'll get one. But
Perhaps.
the Vayne I like, because Vayne is basically just Kai'Sa 2. Because...
Well, yeah, Kai'Sa is sort of Vayne 2.0.
Yeah, Kai'Sa is just Vayne, but better.
Yep.
But Vayne is what happens when Kai'Sa gets a sequel and they realize Kai'Sa's broken, so they nerf every single thing about her, and then release the sequel, because sequels are always worse.
I mean, isn't it a prequel, technically?
But sequels are always worse. So if Vayne's the worst one, therefore she's the sequel.
Haven't you seen Wolverine Origins? So are prequels.
Okay, that's also true. Yeah, prequels are generally very bad.
Just looking at the cleanse there on the Vayne.
Yeah, when you're going for CC of a Braum, you're going to be going in very close into melee range, so you want to be able to cleanse that and keep up the DPS. Vayne being such a short-range ADC, it is very difficult to play into champions like Braum and Alistairs and things like that, but because it is just the stun from the Braum passive, you can just cleanse that and continue to fight.
Am I right in saying that you can cleanse Fear Beyond Death? I saw the Gangplank Orange was enough for who need to get out of it in Worlds.
You can QSS it. I'm not sure you can use summoner spells.
Okay. Cool. All right, will be one for us to potentially find out later on. All I know is that Vito had an incredible performance on the Kai'Sa. It got banned away from him. Like you say, he's gone for sort of the OG version of Kai'Sa with the Vayne. Looking forward to seeing this one come out in Belong Arena Clash. Having seen the drafts, having seen the performance of the Saints in the last game, do you expect them to do the same now? Just
to clarify, Fear Beyond Death is a suppression, so it can only be broken by QSS and Gangplank W.
Thank you.
But going into
this is why we have you around.
Going into this game, now the Ezreal is mid lane. He's going to struggle in terms of, again, wave clear. He's not going to be able to keep up with the Echo. But Echo's never going to be able to kill him. He's going to be able to sit mid and farm up. He's going to have those Klepto stacks. And what happens now that you've got an Ezreal in a solo lane is Ezreal ends up just a little bit over-leveled when he comes into that lane. So when he walks into the mid-game, he's hitting people like a truck. And it's pretty terrifying because, obviously, more points in your W, the higher the AP ratio is. And, yeah, you just shred people to pieces with that.
A bit like I did in that ARAM earlier.
If you want to believe that you were good enough, then sure, I will let you believe that you were good enough.
Yeah.
But all the same, I think this is a highly volatile composition from the Saints. More volatile than we saw last game. The bot lane can fall apart very quickly because Xayah is a very strong trading ADC because of the way the feathers work. You go lethal tempo and you can proc it at a very high range because of the way the feathers work. If you proc it on the extra range of the feathers, that's the start of the lethal tempo. That's your trigger to go in very early, and you know exactly the timing of that to keep that up the entire fight. Vayne wants to go press the attack. She has a ramp up in a fight, so you win out consistently in those short trades. If that extends through the laning phase, Xayah Braum should be able to completely deny Vayne unless she gets a really solid all-in and is able to just completely outplay them.
Okay, so with all of that being said, with that volatility factored in, who are you predicting to win this game?
After the dominating display from the Saints last game, it's really hard to predict against them. But Brawlers won draft. They've got a pushing mid. They've got a bot lane that at least goes even and should win. Their top lane is a lot safer this time around. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to win other than the Vayne just hard outplays. So I'm going to go with the Brawlers, actually, on this one.
All right, well, you flip-flopped, and I'm going to, too. Going back to my Smuggler roots, want to see the Brawlers drop down. Think they're going to lose it in 2. I think that was such a dominant performance by the Saints. I can't see it going any other way. Prove me wrong, Bristol. Out there on Twitch chat, let us know, is it going to be hashtag Cardiff or is it going to be a hashtag Bristol win? And if you think, we might get confused, think you're talking about the Smugglers, feel free to make it, the Brawlers, just to trigger me even more. So, all right, I've just here we've got a couple of technical issues in the game, so it gives us the opportunity to have a little look at how some of the game might play out as we finally do jump onto the Rift. One of the things I always love to turn my attention to, as you know, Sin, is of course the jungle. So we're seeing this Nunu for the first time today. Got banned out in the first game. You were talking about how it's got so many pretty much instant aftershock procs in the early game. What are we expecting to see come out of this?
So this Nunu should be looking to focus bot lane. Bot lane has to be the most volatile point on the map right now, and it has to be where every single person on the map is looking at, I have to get there as soon as possible. Unfortunately for the Ezreal, he can't. Echo is going to get there before him. So Nunu has to get there before either the Echo or the enemy jungler, the Hecarim. And that's going to be difficult if the Hecarim has chosen to go for the Predator, which can be an option. We're seeing more Conqueror nowadays, but especially in terms of ganking level 2, level 3, that Predator is so much more important.
All right, well, we are going to be bringing you onto the Rift just as soon as we can. It looks like that moment is now. Here we go once again. We do see the teams jumping their way onto the Rift. Last time it was the Saints who were united in their push towards the bottom lane. This time we're going to see 4 members of the Brawlers running it down mid.
And they all get spotted immediately by the Nunu, though, which means they can't go for that cheesy strat where they try and bait somebody in with the Xayah and then collapse on them. But this is 2 games in a row where we've seen something pretty cheesy at level 1.
Squirrel, I love you, but this is heartbreaking. I think, I can't remember where I saw it, but someone, possibly Misfits, tweeted the other day, were posting, what is your favourite skin in the game League of Legends? And I responded with original grungy Nunu. I just love that it was Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch. The new one, it just makes me sad.
See, copyrighted material, and it has to be okay in China.
I mean, we have Edgar Davids in the game.
Okay, yeah, but he tried to sue them for that. There's a difference.
But it's still in the game! Also, Edgar Davids was like my hero as a kid playing football with glasses.
I love that skin, that Striker Lucian skin, but nowadays he's just got so many better skins that you don't see it anymore.
High Noon.
Project and High Noon are two absolutely crisp skins.
Not only is he getting skins, he's getting a wife.
Yeah, his wife's going to be coming back, Senna, finally, after all these years. I'm excited to see how that duo lane works, because they've actually announced what the next AD carry is going to be as well, and it's going to be an ADC from the Sun Cult, same as Leona. So we're moving more towards these duos. We're going to have Lucian, Senna, you're going to have Leona in the new ADC. Ooh.
Meanwhile, early trades, we do see Nautilus managing to land the Dread line, but Gelatin Skeleton actually getting the better of this trade against Vitero.
That's what we expect, though. They win out those short trades. And they can continue doing that for pretty much the rest of the game, as already Conqueror procced much quicker, and this is what happens without the W being available yet for Nice Penta Idiot, is Philex can go in aggressively, proc that one.
Every time.
What?
Nice Penta Idiot. It's so good. Oh, man.
Calm down, Stan.
No, Philex Mamo, though, having just a great time there in the top lane. Meanwhile, we do see the stun. He's going to land onto AD. The potential dredge line pullback there. It is heal already burned. And the condemn onto the wall. First blood is picked up by Vitero.
And he cleanses the ignite.
He certainly does cleanse the ignite. He ended the last game with kills. He starts this one with kills. Is there nothing this ADC can't do?
And we said it was volatile. This is exactly what we were talking about, because Kai'Sa wins out short trades, but if an all-in goes the way of this Vayne and she starts to pick up kills, she will never stop picking up kills until the rest of the team arrives.
I was worried for Vitero in this, having taken the cleanse over the heal, not having that extended sustain in these trades, but no, there it was. Nice kill picked up.
Just think about the adaptation there from Vitero as well. He switched from going W first to W second, rather.
Nice flip from Nice Penta Idiot. He does put the purge down. Turret shot is going to connect onto Philex Mamo. We saw the junglers turn their attention towards the bot lane, but they separated quite quickly.
He switched from going that W second to going E second to secure the kill with that flash. So he is going super aggressive this game.
It was an inch perfect condemn, right?
It was an inch perfect condemn, but now Sign Up Sprinter maybe going a bit too aggressive.
Being called out. We're going to see if these feathers get pulled back through him to catch any sort of route. 80 not able to get that final lockdown. There it is, and right on top of control ward as well.
Oh, the Nunu's here.
The snowball. That's going to be a flash away from Gelatin Skeleton. This time it's going to be a condemn, taking her out of the fight. 80 is going to get the kill into Vitero with that final hit. Here comes Hecarim with the decimating charge. Goes straight on to Sign Up Sprinter. Is able to get the flash out of him. Squirrel doing everything he can, but he's just a Nuno. He's got no damage. Gelatin Skeleton's in the background. We're going to see the dredge line pulling back Page. He takes a turret shot. He takes down the Nunu, and it is going to be Page who survived. 2 kills going over. This one goes in favor of Gelatin Skeleton and co.
And the W heal, just enough to keep him alive. As Page gets so close, and we talked about on a knife's edge. We talked about volatility. How's that for a volatile early game?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Just what you want to see. 4 kills in 4 minutes. And Philex Mamo and also Nice Penta Idiot. They're still trying to give us our first kill in the top lane. I'm sorry, that name is just my favorite right now. I'm not even sorry, it's just my favorite.
The one thing that's surprising me right now, though, is if we look at the mid lane, you can actually see Yanako winning out in CS over the Echo right now. He's able to hold on.
I'd forgotten there was a mid lane.
The mid lane Echo losing out in CS to the mid lane Ezreal. He's been able to keep up in wave clear. He's been able to use the Kleptomancy to give himself even more of a gold lead and get all those potions for himself. So he's feeling pretty good right now. He's in a good spot. He's scaling, and like we talked about, he's going to be over-leveled compared to the AD carries come that mid game.
Crucially, though, as we look at that gold, only in the mid lane is there really a clear disadvantage at all. And as you're saying, Yanako doing very, very nicely with the Kleptomancy to get himself a lead.
This wave is going to be awfully frozen for the turret.
Yeah,
it's going to be so difficult for the Saints to play around. They need the Nunu to come bot immediately, and he's just not ready.
Nope, not even close. Instead, it's actually Hecarim who's closer to being able to be activated in the bot lane. Gelatin Skeleton's starting to have a better time. This could be a dive coming in as Echo and Hecarim both start to walk down river. The dredge lightnings can connect, but it's got to be careful here because Sign Up Sprinter, I'm not sure this is a fight you're going to want. We're going to see the wall thrown up by Ali. The stun's already going to connect onto Sign Up Sprinter. Meanwhile, Vitero is absolutely having to get out of there quickly. The 2-man gang squadron of Hecarim and Echo arrive. Echo doesn't even get a part in the kill because Hecarim takes that one all for himself.
And this is what we said about, though. Echo has the ability to roam quicker. The Ezreal was pinned down in the mid lane. He just abandoned the lane. Hecarim ended up walking down with him, and they pick up a free kill for him.
Vito trying to get a chase. He's got Yannick for company, but it's Hecarim who is absolutely happy to take
God,
it
he's
on.
only
Vito
level 4.
completely caught out, has no flash available, no cleanse either. Thane getting his first kill of the game. Suddenly, 4 individual members of the Bristol Brawlers all have a kill to themselves, and you seem to have been right to have swapped allegiances in terms of who you thought might win this game, because right now the Bristol Brawlers are throwing away any misconceptions we might have had. Game 1 perhaps was a fluke. They're looking good in Game 2.
And they needed more of those sort of solo kill, aggressive plays in the bot lane to work out for them before people were allowed to roam, before people were coming into that bottom side of the map. Unfortunately, it happened far too quickly for them to be ready. The Vayne's already died twice in very quick succession. And now the Xayah rather, has an important lead.
Crucially, their level 6 has just been picked up for Nice Penta Idiot, so the Fear Beyond Death there to equalise against the Vanguard's Edge that was already thrown out by Phylex Mamo, which is why we do see Nice Penta Idiot on such low health. Meanwhile, however, yet another route catching onto Vitoro, who is now 7 CS down.
It's not too much CS down right now. Is trying to freeze the wave for himself to maybe bait them in and get Nunu to come bot again. But right now, Gelatin Skeleton's fine. He knows that his team can win out and pretty much outscale in terms of teamfight prowess. It's very much, again, just splitting the map and individuals poking out and dealing damage on their own individual carry performances that has to push Cardiff over the line.
Hecarim here just waiting patiently, knowing there's a potential ward in the tri-bush, so we're going to see Braw clear this one out, which means Hecarim knows he has not been spotted. 4 dashes at it, he's already caught on to Synapse Sprinter. That's going to be 1 stack, that's going to be 4 stacks of the Braw passive, all there for Synapse Sprinter. He doesn't have to dredge line out, but he's going to get caught out by the onslaught of shadows. Gelatin Skeleton with his 2nd kill of the game.
And unfortunately there you saw Vitoro use the cleanse trying to heal his ally, not noticing that he had unfortunately switched summoners, and because he's just such a low level here, they can continue doing this time and time again, and they're going to kill him yet again here, likely.
Oh, you say that, but one more shot is possibly going to be enough for Vitoro to take someone down. Vayne is going to get a kill, however, without an ultimate available, he's going to be dead to Squirrel, and it is going to be an assist coming through for Vayne. Meanwhile, Page is just going to try and execute if possible, but instead it's going to be Nunu who gets himself a double.
And that is going to be an assist going over to Vayne as well. So
I'll tell you
able
what,
to turn that one around at least slightly. Still only 1k in the deficit.
Right there, actually, if we'd seen Nuno leave that alone, that kill would have gone over to Vitoro, because actually he hadn't quite timed out in terms of the damage. Meanwhile, Knockup's going to land on the bow for the bot lane. Yanako's here with the damage as well. We are going to see a teleport channel. This is going to be a big old fight as the absolute hero 0 picks up a kill, but we do see Xayah getting one return. Ignite is burning her down. She used the heal. She's trying to stay alive. She's got Thane for company as well. Gelatin Skeleton is super low, but she's still putting the damage down. Meanwhile, that's going to be a beautiful time in the parallel convergence. Double kill coming in for Echo. Fane is 4-1-0. Gelatin Skeleton is 3-0-4, and we have a 2,000 gold lead for the Bristol Brawlers.
And this skirmish prowess is only going to increase for the side of the Bristol Brawlers. They've drafted a much more frontline heavy composition that can survive the 80 carry damage and then have the Echo and the Xayah as fallback damage on top of it. We know that the Urgot and the Hecarim are going to be able to frontline for long periods of time. They're going to be able to be extremely survivable, and it's just going to lead them to consistently win out these fights, because Vayne and Echo can't push through the front line to ever challenge the Echo, to ever challenge the Xayah. It becomes so easy for them to play front to back.
Nice Penta Idiot clearing out some vision. Is quite considerably behind on CS to the Aurelia. However, no deaths have occurred in the top lane despite all of Phylex Mamo's best intentions.
I'm just looking at this though. When you've got an Urgot and a Braum, and especially with a Xayah, playing front to back is so easy. And now you've got an Echo who's looking to pressure the backline while you're doing that. Their composition is just too well rounded to be able to be stopped by this Cardiff Saints.
So what you're saying is that Synapse Sprinter, Phylex Mamo, Squirrel, they're just all going to be getting obliterated at the beginning of fights at the front, and then eventually you're going to see Yannick, Vitoro, that Ezreal, that Vayne without anyone to protect them.
Exactly that. The front line disappears. It's the back line on their own, exposed because nobody's stopping the Echo. Nobody's able to deal with the Echo because they're busy just trying to survive.
Vitoro tumbles forward and immediately gets caught out by a Glacial Fissure. Squirrel was arriving, but it was too late to save the ADC. Meanwhile, we do see a 4-0-4 Gelatin Skeleton who's more than happy to continue this 2v2, because ADC and support better than jungle and support any day of the week.
It just ends up another kill going over to the Bristol Brawlers. Yet again, their draft is winning out because the Vayne just hasn't been given the time to scale. She wasn't aggressive enough in the early game before those laners could start moving around, and she got punished because of this trading advantage that Xayah just has innately in the matchup.
The Bristol Brawlers say, we don't want Future Sailor to get an early night. We want him stuck in the studio for as long as possible. We're taking this all the way to a full best of 3, and right now things are looking good for them as they pick up the Herald as well. well. We are going to see that is going to be the depth charge being put down to Gelatin Skeleton, gets condemned against the wall, but already we see Gelatin Skeleton with 1 kill, not going to be able to get out of this absolute 0, however, and that's going to be AD taken down. Gelatin Skeleton does throw feathers out, but does eventually get shut down. Another kill for Vito Row.
That is desperately needed as the gold was starting to snowball out of control. We said one of the biggest things that can turn this is individual carry.
You want to see individual carry? Well, let me tell you about my friend Thane, because he's put the parallel convergence on, he's got the shield, he's dashing after Vito Row, and he's now 5-1-0. That's individual carry.
And we're like, this is the thing. We needed to see a Vayne outplay there, like hardcore, to be able to survive that play. And she's just not got the items yet. She's not got the levels yet. She gets completely obliterated by 1 Echo E, because he's level 9 and she's barely hit level 6.
A stun does manage to land onto the Urgot. Vanguard's Edge is thrown down. Nice Penta Idiot doing everything he can with the Purge. Has got Fear Beyond Death available. Isn't going to throw it down because he knows he hasn't quite got the damage. Meanwhile, Thane turning the attention straight towards Yannico. Does have the flash available. Will have to use it. We're not going to see Thane dashing over the wall. Sign-Up Sprinter is here for support for the Ezreal, keeping him alive for now.
Well, actually, in the top lane, Philex Mamo had the ability to land a Q onto the minion to be able to kill the minion and then jump onto the Urgot. Potentially had kill pressure there after she landed the Vanguard's Edge, but messed up the Q execute and wasn't able to get the kill. And at least they get the flash from him now, but she could have had a solo kill in the matchup, and that's exactly what you needed, somebody to be a bastion of hope on the map.
So, nice Penta Idiot survives, does have to burn the flash. Meanwhile, Mountain Dragon was picked up by the Bristol Brawlers. That's going to mean that the objectives go down even faster. Meanwhile, we saw that stopwatch being burned by Ezreal as he once again got dove by Thane.
It's just becoming a real problem for them all around the map, and even though the Ezreal is up that 20 CS, it doesn't matter. So Rift Herald now being dropped bot lane as well. They're going to snowball this advantage even further.
And this is a bot lane turret that's already lost 2 of its plates. It's about to lose another 2, and we're probably going to see first turret of the game picked up at the 12-minute 38 mark. Absolute crazy gold lead now as we're looking at nearly 5,000 for the Bristol Brawlers. The team that lost in such a convincing fashion last time round, they are now snowballing a lead of their own.
Like we said, the draft was hard to predict against for the Bristol Brawlers, and I don't want it to all come down to draft. The execution has been very solid. Thane has been playing this matchup well. He's been roaming solidly, like is necessary in this matchup. The Gelatin Skeleton has been winning out these 1v1s consistently, unlike we saw last game, and that is what has put them in such a commanding lead.
Thane has the Chrono Break available, may look for potential dive onto Yannico. Instead, he's going to get caught completely out by Sign-Up Sprinter. He's going to have the depth charge knocking him straight into the air. Still has the ultimate available, might use it for a bit of damage. Instead, he just opts to flash straight away. That's going to be the rewind, the Chrono Break. It's going to be Hextech, just taking him straight into turret, trying to get as many minions down as he could, as he knew he was absolutely doomed.
He was looking to try and land the ult on Yannico there, maybe get the nuke off and try and finish him off with that last proc of the parallel convergence, but no, instead is just going to be not getting that Z-Drive kill. Instead, it does end up falling down and blows everything for it. It doesn't even have a chance to survive, but still uses that flash. Unfortunately for him, that's a big shutdown gold going over.
It certainly is, and I believe it went in the end into the pocket of Synapse. That's a real shame right there, but still, better to have it than to not have it at all. Turret plating has just fallen off. Only the 1 turret was taken down that time. However, already we can see the dominant force pushing forward. The Bristol Brawlers looking for their second turret here in the mid lane.
A 3.2k gold lead, expanding that lead is the Xayah, and at 5-1-4, nearing that Infinity Edge not too far away. She's going to be unstoppable in these fights to a Vayne who's just got that bulk completed.
But that gold lead you just talked about, the what is it now, 3.6, that is still a lower number than it was a minute or 2 ago, before that shutdown, before some of the plays that the Cardiff Saints had come up with. So maybe the Cardiff Saints are starting to find their feet in this game.
But the thing is, the Vayne requires so much more to be online in these fights.
Rage Blade?
You need, maybe the Rage Blade is needed, maybe you need some crit build, but you need some kind of huge damage source from the Vayne consistently.
How about a potential 1v1 as Vito Row tries to get the kill, flashes to the side, just going to try and get the Silver Bolt proc. The third Silver Bolt proc would have done it. Instead, the Chrono Shift is there, and with the Onslaught of Shards, we do see Pudge able to pick up that kill. Squirrel, that's not the way you want to take your Blast Cone, son. That's going to be Thane putting all of the damage down. Absolute Zero is being challenged. Thane is going very, very low, and Squirrel's going to get the kill. It's going to be Vanguard's Edge as the double teleport arrives. This is going to be Vanguard's Edge put down, but immediately it's going to be Felix Mamo put down even quicker. It's going to be Squirrel dying as well to the Fear Beyond Death, and just like that, any hope of a Cardiff Saints comeback is squashed as soon as it arrives.
And they throw him into the meat grinder. Nobody can make the outplay, and Nice Penta Idiot picks up that kill for himself. It is going to be going towards this tower very quickly. And unfortunately, this is the game pretty much all said and done now with a 5k lead. nearing 6k for the Bristol Brawlers. It's all said and done.
I think the last game was 23 minutes, if I remember correctly, that it went over to the Cardiff Saints. Right now, we're pre-16 minutes, and already attention was starting to be turned towards the inhibitor turrets of the Cardiff Saints. Bristol Brawlers looking so strong, and they're going to continue to try and snowball that lead.
But that was the last opportunity we're probably going to see this game for Vitero and Felix Mamo to be able to turn it around, to be able to make those plays they needed to get back into the game. And it just slipped right out of their grasp in the final moments. The TP was far too late from Felix. They didn't get the kills they needed, and now they sit so far down that their damage just won't matter in these fights.
Yeah, I'm starting to look at the vision here that the Bristol Brawlers have in the blue side jungle of the Cardiff Saints. Some cleverly positioned control wards. They know exactly what is happening on the blue side of the map of the Cardiff Saints, and they have all of the setup that they need for this next dragon that's coming. They've already taken 2 all for themselves. They'll be able to secure that third so very easily.
And it's just not been a challenge. Now they're trying to kill Thane.
They've got a good chance here. We're going to see Silver Bolt proc. The Condemn is going to be good, and that's going to be Thane using the Chrono Break, trying to make an outplay, going towards Silent Sprinter, but Vito Rowe gets this shutdown. Crucial kill coming through. They will trade a dragon in response.
Losing the dragon as well, gaining at least a kill for Vayne, giving Vayne at least some kind of gold is very crucial at this stage, showing that they can fight back, that they will not allow the map to be split against them like they were doing so well last game. They're showing how you counter that kind of split.
Vayne's next recall will give us some crucial information in terms of what Vito Rowe is going to be building towards, whether it'll be that Rage Blade or whether it'll be a crit item like a Static Shiv. We will have to see. Personally, I'm not sure anything that Vito Rowe builds right now can do anything, as we see Sign Up Sprinter having to flash away, dodging away from the Glacial Fissure, which was thrown out blind, not quite going to connect onto its target.
As Vayne now, unfortunately...
This is a dangerous hold recall position. Vito Rowe trying to tumble, but getting an onslaught of shadows straight for a back, using the cleanse beautifully timed to get out of that fear. Knockup is good from Sign Up Sprinter, and here comes the cavalry. It's going to be Nunu rolling that snowball up, but I'm not sure that's a fight the Saints want to continue. Meanwhile, that's going to be nice. Pentaridiot dashing forward, putting the damage down onto Felix Mamo. He says, you know what, I didn't like getting solo killed over and over again last game. Have some of that in response.
And after all the effort of killing Thane in the top lane to save that tower, all it requires is them just all walk towards that top lane, and they pick it up so easily.
Yannico, you are in so very much trouble. Flashes and also arcane shifts, and he's still in so much danger, having to just continue on running away from Thane. Meanwhile, look at this pressure that's being exerted by the Bristol Brawlers. Having picked up that objective on the bottom half of the map, they're now turning their attention towards getting vision on the red side of the map, with Baron spawning in 1.5 minutes.
And that Baron is going to be so crucial if we find a way for Cardiff Saints to actually fight over it. If they get their double 80 carries, some stalling time, then maybe we can see them get back into this game and have some kind of fight back.
How do they manage that? Because I literally can't envisage it right now. Paint me the picture.
It has to be like Squirrel jumping in, being a big disruptor in the fight, and Felix Mamo buying a lot of attention by landing a multi-man Vanguard's Edge. Maybe you can have Yannico and Vitero landing some DPS without really being in the danger zone at the time, and that is how you clean up the fight, with the enemy team already on Baron, with them already being chunked out.
That's what our top-tier analyst, our top-tier coach thinks that the Cardiff Saints have to accomplish. Now that you've painted the picture, I can imagine it happening, but I still think it would have to be one heck of an incredible play from the Saints, or one heck of a set of incredible mistakes coming in from the Bristol Brawlers. Here comes yet another fight. That's going to flip on the Felix Mamo, who's trying to dash himself away. He has to flash. He gets away from the Fear Beyond Death, which doesn't manage to pull him down. There's that Vanguard's Edge you were looking for, but straight into a Glacial Fissure, and Justin Skeleton manages to take down the Relic before she manages to pick up a kill for herself. With one key member down, are we going to see Baron attention?
But the Vayne is here trying to turn it around. She's trying to kill the Hecarim so they can't go for it.
The Dredge line did not quite connect onto Pyge, who was dashing himself away. That's going to be yet another turret falling down in favour of the Bristol Brawlers. They now have got themselves a 7,500 gold lead.
And it's so easy for them to win fights by just playing it out slowly, committing these members as 5, because you know it's so hard for any of them to be picked off individually. You've got such a beefy front line with this Hecarim that I believe has a Cinderhulk. And
he does, yes.
Bit of color blindness.
That's all right. Just let you know.
Because red and green, it's odd for me.
And
the Urgot in the top lane as well, who's so beefy, so hard to get through.
I mean, yeah, I never get to complain to you about vision. I mean, you know, I'm practically blind without my glasses, so it's all good. Meanwhile, speaking...
Just imagining Velma from Scooby-Doo right now.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely me. I even wear orange jumpers sometimes.
Orange turtleneck all the way up
absolutely.
to your chin. Yeah.
Speaking of vision, that's exactly what the Bristol Brawlers are doing their best to get right now. Cardiff Saints denying as much of it in their jungle as possible, so they at least have a path into getting towards this Baron as and when it eventually starts to go down. But Aurelia's bot lane without TP.
Yeah, but she is able to just push up that wave, force somebody to respond and back off, and because she's forced somebody to respond, it means that the Cardiff Saints can commit to that topside jungle a bit easier, knowing that that full commit can't be made without one of their strongest members in the Ezreal.
Yeah, and I say without TP, Felix Mamo actually has just got TP back up again, as we do see the dredge line to safety. Addy trying to catch on towards that Nautilus, not going to be able to do it this moment. However, Sign-Up Sprinter was almost in danger there.
Yeah, Felix Mamo, yeah, like you said, just gets the TP back so he can commit a bit easier to the side lane. But Thane still doesn't have his. If they can maybe utilize this and get a 5v4, this could be fairly big.
There's literally only seconds in it, though. It would have to be a fight very, very shortly.
It's probably about 15-20 second window there that you've got, and they need to do something. They can't just let themselves be bled out this game.
That's what's happening, though. That is exactly what's happening. The Bristol Brawlers, they take down that control wall, which is the only piece of vision the Cardiff Saints have in that Baron pit, and immediately we are going to see Pike and team starting up this Baron. The Rage Blade has just been completed by Vayne, but with that recall, I don't think the Cardiff Saints are going to get anywhere near this Baron. It is absolutely gone. Double Mountain Dragon, and the Fed team equals free Baron for 5 members of the Bristol Brawlers.
And that's the secure for Baron, and likely the secure for the game as well, as with a nearly 9k lead, it's so hard for them to fight against 5 members with Baron just walking it down mid.
And it's very rare that we see 2 such convincing games going to opposite teams. You know, usually when you see a result like we did in the first game, you don't expect to, you either expect to see a really close game where the Brawlers fight back, or the Saints just demolishing them again. Instead, it's a complete reversal of fortunes, and it leaves us asking, if this game does go to game 3, which it looks like it will, what will happen then?
I know this is a bit of a distraction, but is that the esports Braw skin?
I'll have to check in just a moment, because Squirrel trying to get engaged leaves a lot of potential for... that's going to be Urgot taking the turret in the top lane. We're going to see the nice True Shot Barrage catching on to AD. He's actually doing pretty decent work to try and keep his team alive. Sign-Up Sprinter not going to be quite so lucky. He gets taken down by Page. Meanwhile, Squirrel, who was so very low, throws down the Absolute Zero, but gets removed by Vayne. Meanwhile, Aurelia does manage to get onto the Hecarim, does manage to run to safety, but still 4 members strong. With the Baron, with themselves a Siege minion, are going to continue pushing on towards the inhibitor turret.
Both AD carries live, but it looks like it's too little, too late, as this inhibitor is surely going to fall in just a moment. Forcing the dash away, not quite the flash away from Yanako, but this has given them the pressure they need to be able to get this inhibitor and move towards the bot.
That is going to be inhibitor number 1 down, and immediately Thane has brought a wave with him to play. He's going to come straight over, takes a couple of turret hits for his troubles, but inhibitor number 2 is going to fall in just a moment or two. Pike still, of course, not with the team. The opportunity for a 5 versus 4 is here. This is where the Saints have to fight if they're going to. Already we do see the Echo completely caught out. He used the ultimate, he uses Donius to stay alive. Meanwhile, down on the bottom, we do see Gelatin Skeleton already taking down Squirrel. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but remember, of course, the Hecarim is not in this fight. Can we see the Cardiff Saints get any more? They've already lost the inhibitor. Can they actually take a fight? The answer seems to be no. We're going to see True Shot Barrage catching on to Gelatin Skeleton. Now we do see that Sign-Up Sprinter, he's looking forward. He's still potentially trying to get another pick. The Dredge Line is available. The use of his ultimate will be available in just a moment as well if he wants to use that depth charge. We're going to see instead the Bristol Brawlers immediately taking themselves a dragon, and they've just got such a firm grip on this game that it's free and easy.
It's such an easy dragon to pick up. Yeah, now they've got those 2 inhibitors down. It is so easy to back off, get control, reset the waves, and look to push back in over again. They still have the remnants of Baron, so they can maybe use that to speed up this wave, but they're not going to be able to utilize it on those Nexus towers. They have to use a split map to be able to split up the enemy members, make them commit to one side, and collapse on the other.
Alright, so the Cardiff Saints, they are left with a little bit of their base still remaining here in the top side. They've got an inhibitor turret, they've got an inhibitor, they've even got a couple of shiny Nexus turrets, but it does feel like the shininess might be disappearing soon.
The game is slipping away for the Cardiff Saints, and that lead in the series slipping away with it. Having to go to a game 3 with maybe your tricks have been worked out, you could say. This game, they were much more figured out in draft. This Ezreal pick didn't really work for them. The Vayne, they wanted to go for this aggressive bot lane to counter the Xayah. They, unfortunately, without the first pick ADC, got very punished by this bot lane matchup, and that has been the crux of the game. We said it was a coin flip bot lane. If it started to go towards the Brawlers, they would pick up the game. That is exactly what happened.
And it continues to go in their favor as well as they now look towards this final inhibitor turret. I almost laughed during the pick and ban phase. I don't believe I've ever seen 4 out of 5 of the previous game's champions banned away by a team, but it's worked for the Brawlers. They took the Saints team comp away from them, perhaps took away comfort picks as well, and as a result, look what's happening in game number 2. The 10k Gold League has just appeared. 8 turrets to 0, 4 dragons to 0, 1 Baron to 0, and in the minute we might be seeing 1 game to 1. Condemn is going to land, and that's going to be some decent damage put down by the Vayne. Flash away from the Urgot, going from the dredge line, and now we see a slight disengage coming in. Pyge going, stepping forward as well, but we can just see the Bristol Brawlers wait again for the minions to arrive because they've got supers pushing in the other lanes.
Now, those super minions should be enough to get members to commit to clearing them, and that just makes it so easy to push this top wave in and get control yet again. It's just so hard to deal with so many waves of supers at once.
Vayne is literally clearing the minions out as the rest of the team try to defend this final turret, and with a wave arriving, it is going to be so very difficult for the Saints to win this fight. Vanguard's Edge has been thrown down. That's going to be Aurelia dashing in, trying to get onto the Xayah. Not quite able to pick her off, though. We're going to see Xayah go, Aurelia going golden. Echo picks up the kill onto Nautilus. We do see Yannico getting a kill, but in turn being destroyed by Thane. It's going to be a final last stand as Felix Mamou does manage to take down one, but that's going to be Urgot picking the kill on the Vayne, and with only Felix Mamou standing, this could well easily be the game. Nice Penta Idiot steps forward. He starts throwing the Purge down to every minion in sight. He takes down a Nexus turret. Those shiny Nexus turrets are shiny no longer. Felix Mamou is going to be dropping as well, trying to get in, trying to get the shutdown to Xayah. Her second death of the game. Will that be enough to delay the end of this game? I don't think it will. Sign-Up Sprinter will be alive in 3 seconds time, but his Nexus is falling lower and lower. Can't quite see the health bar of it. Can we see one amazingly valiant stand? We're going to see Felix Mamou dashing forward, dashing around. It's going to be a nice knock-up and onto nice Pentaridiot, but that's going to be a knock-up in return with the Glacial Fissure being issued. It's going to be nice Pentaridiot taking down the Aurelia. The fight that seems to go on forever. It's going to be Yannico is the next contender. He throws down the True Shot battery and he hits nothing but the goalpost. We're going to see nice Pentaridiot absolutely obliterating Sign-Up Sprinter. The teleport is joining the fray. That's going to be Thane. He gets immediately condemned against the Nexus itself. Now nice Pentaridiot is running away, taking Inhibitor as he goes, finally dying. The Urgot lived for so damn long. The game end has been delayed, but the Brawlers have nothing left of their base.
And in that fight, Felix Mamou showed the hell up. He was surviving for so damn long, so much longer than he should have been able to, stalling this game out so much longer than it should have been able to as well. The Baron has respawned, and unfortunately, with 3 inhibitors down, so many super minions, they can't contest it, and it should just be an easy closeout, but the valiant effort from Cardiff Saints cannot be ignored.
2 Mountain Dragons mean that the second Baron of the game will go down in no time at all. Nunu can't even get close to attempt to contest this one. We're going to see nice Pentaridiot alive in 10 seconds time. He has the teleport available.
So 2 inhibitors have just about respawned now for the Cardiff Saints. This will be the bot lane inhibitor respawning in just a moment here, and the top lane inhibitor is the only one still down. These double super minions will be the last wave of double super minions coming in the top side, and that means it's so much easier to deal with. But when the enemy team walks in with Baron towards an inhib, you need to engage then and there. You can't allow 3 inhibitors to fall again, or it is just so easy with Baron to close the game, when in every single wave you have 6 Baron-empowered super minions to deal with.
Looking around, and almost every summoner spell is available for Cardiff Saints, only missing the flash of Felix Mamou and Sign-Up Sprinter's Ignite, which will be up very, very shortly. The ultimate not available for Yannico, but every other ultimate available for the Saints. They've got almost a full arsenal available to them. Will they go in? They surely have to. Pyge just stepping forward. He's trying to free hit onto this inhibitor, but he gets caught out by the snowball instead. Pyge has lost a lot of his health bars. Meanwhile, however, the fight is very split because it's going to be 2 inhibitors being targeted. Vito Rowe dashing himself away, still got the cleanse available to him. Neither of the inhibitors have fallen just yet, but that changes now because ADO's forward, and with Gelatin Skeleton gets himself one. The second inhibitor turret falls, the dredge line away from Sign-Up Sprinter, and this could very well be the end of the game. Onslaught of Shadows, but a massive Vanguard's Edge catching on to 4 members. That's going to be 1 kill as Yannico takes down Pyge. Vito Rowe flashes over his own Nexus to try and get a kill, trying to pick up everything that he can, but unfortunately it's the Bristol Brawlers who look completely and utterly dominant in game 2 of this series. They wipe the Cardiff Saints, they wipe out their Nexus, and they take us to a game 3.
And with such a strong draft coming through from the Bristol Brawlers, it was hard to see them losing that game. It was hard to see the bot lane falling and then the mid lane not being able to rotate around and pick up these free kills, you have to say, around the map where there's so little escape available for any of the Cardiff Saints. But still, all the same, Cardiff Saints, we said those big carry performances needed to come through if they had even a chance. And Felix Mamo, he showed what he can do on that Aurelia, and I think you give that to him again in a third game perhaps. So we showed already what he can do on the Vladimir. He's showing to be the superior top laner. If you give him the opportunity to carry, he will take it. And you don't have to put all your money on the bot lane. You can draft a safer bot lane. Maybe you can go for the Ezreal plus Morgana, something like that. Be able to hold on.
2 games, 2 dominating performances from but 2 different sides of the Rift. Well, the same side, but 2 different teams, and we have got 1 game left. Will it be lucky blue side paying off for the Cardiff Saints, or can we see the Bristol Brawlers complete their comeback, reverse sweeping the Cardiff Saints and taking this victory for themselves? The casters are going to take a small break to regain their composure, as the teams do as well, before the next pick and ban, but we'll be back very shortly. We are one game apiece, and we have got an absolute mammoth of a battle to finish off this series. You're right there, Sid.
And now, Staniel, we're coming into Game 3 here. It's been two very one-sided games, you have to say. Game 1, incredibly one-sided towards the Cardiff Saints. Then you look at Game 2, and suddenly Bristol Brawlers actually have a draft that continuously has a game plan where they go, okay, we went for a very squishy wombo combo comp, and they just split the map on us. We could never execute on it. Okay, let's go for some more bruisery frontliners. Let's actually have a comp that can fight them at any phase. We can collapse on the side lanes easier. They can't collapse on us anywhere near as easy. And now we come to Game 3. We have to see how both teams adapt and which strategy comes out on top.
I'm glad you talked about composition, because actually after the pick and bans, each time you said, actually no, I think this team's going to win. I thought it was a hell of a brave call for you to say Brawl's going to take the last game, considering how they just got absolutely ruffle stomped, but you were absolutely right, and that makes this pick ban phase so important.
I can tell you as a coach, better draft always wins. And me and my almighty wisdom will always tell you better draft wins. Draft Kingdom is the place that all games are won nowadays.
Alrighty, well that is the phase
Coaches deserve more
that's
money.
the phase that we're in, and we're already seeing Nice Penta Idiots Urgot taken away. Now this was a champion that was so highly prioritized that it was picked blind in the first phase last time.
It was a really interesting early pick, and normally you see something like a Kled into it. The Aurelia worked, to be fair, but it didn't punish early enough. It needed so much time to be able to punish. And when he did punish during the early levels, the Urgot just backed off to his tower and was able to sack CS, knowing that he can lose the matchup a bit because his bot lane was stomping.
And we see the Bristol Brawlers opting into a little thought of, if it's not broken, don't fix it, banning away the same three champions, but forgetting the fact that they're not on the blue side of the map this time. That means that Felix Man was able to first pick himself up that Xayah, and for the first time in this game we're going to see Gelatin Skeleton on something different.
Xayah Kai'Sa. It's going to be Ashe on this side here. We're going to see an Ashe Nautilus, I want to say, bot lane from Bristol Brawlers.
You don't think we're seeing a Vayne again?
No, I don't think we're going to see a Vayne again. They're happy to go back to the Hecarim. It worked really nicely for them last time. I liked the collapses they were able to make happen on the bot side so quickly. It's a lot harder against the Xayah, who has that kite back potential. I'd like to see them go for something like the Xayah Braum this time, if they're going for a more disengaged focused bot lane and don't want to play as aggressive. But if they are looking to play just as aggressive, they can go for that Nautilus themselves. And Braum is known as a counter to Xayah because you end up blocking all those feathers. There's nowhere for her to pull them back.
And also, you know, the Bristol Brawlers, we see them taking away two of the champions that worked so well for them last time. Of course, they have got the Xayah denied from them, but they're still able to pick up pretty much everything else they picked up first time round, apart from, of course, that Urgot, which I feel could be a really crucial
Xayah
ban.
Braum it is. The Ashe Braum versus the Xayah Kai'Sa is probably going to be that show.
Xayah Kai'Sa.
Xayah Kai'Sa.
I want to see that.
That's the meta. It's like a Zia Corki over again, but they're going
TK. Now, this is something we've not seen at all in the Belong Arena Clash split so far, I don't believe, and something that we haven't seen a huge amount of in the meta.
But, my boy Staniel Barker, is it going to be the European style of Tahm Kench, where it's all about surviving in the laning phase, or is it going to go to the Chinese style of Tahm Kench, where it's just dive the enemy bot lane tower, drag your jungler under the enemy bot lane, and whammo, you get a double kill?
Can I just say that after hearing the European accent, I was really glad you didn't go for the Chinese accent. But
Spiffing.
It was. Well, it's a really, really good question. I mean, is it even going to be Tahm Kench support? You know, this could end up being Watley up in the top lane. But with Yannico lacking in the Camille, most likely for Felix Mamo, that seems very, very unlikely. You called the Ashe. There it is. What made you say Ashe so predominantly, considering what's already banned away?
Have you seen the club tag for Gelatin Skeleton?
I was about to swear at you then. I stopped myself.
No, that's not just the reason here, because one of the best laning AD carries in the meta currently is Ashe. In terms of once you lose the Xayah Kai'Sa, one of the few laners that can actually lane against Xayah because her massive range advantage due to the feathers is Xayah. Against Xayah is Ashe. Yeah. And Varus is the other one. We see Varus Tahm Kench quite often for that exact reason. But the two of them were both known for being able to play against long-range AD carries. notably Caitlyn. That's why they became meta ever in the first place, in response to Caitlyn. And now that the Xayah has become the number one, they are still good in response to that.
But here's my thing, like, looking at the Ashe, thinking about what it's really good at, especially as the game gets later and later, sort of looking post-6, surely the Tahm Kench negates a lot of what the Ashe does.
You could say that, but at the same time, you just ult the Tahm Kench. And Tahm Kench is always on the front line. Without anywhere near the survivability that Tahm Kench used to have, you can shred him to pieces. And when you got this much of a front-to-back comp, which would be cemented by this pick into the Camille top lane, I feel like you're just going to shred the enemy front line to pieces with this comp.
Alright, we see the Bristol Brawlers with their bans taking away the Nunu, taking away the Ahri, denying from Yannico what he played so well on in Game 1, and denying both of the junglers that Squirrel has played on in this game, taking away the Olaf and the Nunu, and now locking in the Malphite.
So, what's Tahm Kench going to do in response to a Malphite flying over a wall in his face? With
Die?
Yes, yeah, he's going to die. He's going to die
Splattered
a lot.
catfish.
The thing is here, though, this comp is still pretty good from the Saints.
Yes.
They've still got the Xayah, the Jarvan, but which is ironically what we saw from the Brawlers in Game 1. They've gone for this Camille as well, which is just Jarvan but better. So they've got a heavy amount of picks still available. They can still collapse very easily on individual members who are out of position. The Tahm Kench can ult somebody into those positions as well. Their side lane collapse is huge, and with this Heimerdinger mid lane, they've got an anchor point for people to be able to roam around.
Right, okay. That's an interesting draft. It's not the champion I was expecting to see at all coming out of Yannico.
No, but I respect it.
I also do, and hearing what you're saying in terms of, I love the word anchor point there, especially considering that it's not a Nautilus. But actually, it makes a lot of sense. He's just had the Vel'Koz picked into it.
Okay, so he is going to struggle to keep up his turrets in the laning phase, but all the same, he's not going to be shoved continually into his tower. He's not going to just die 1v1 continuously.
I'm not worried about the 1v1.
He's going to be able to at least keep up in the lane, but the Vel'Koz kill pressure is still there. It is still very prominent. And with a Hecarim ganking as well, it becomes even more
Or
prominent.
a Malphite, or an Ashe Arrow.
See, I don't think Malphite's ever going to be able to leave lane. I think Camille is going to pin him to it.
Okay.
Because she's a true damage champion. She builds Triforce, she pins him to lane. He can't ever escape. He's got a much better trading advantage than he used to because, like, the way they reworked him recently, you slam your fist into the ground, you reduce the attack speed, you use your W, you max W for trading, you go Grasp of the Undying, and your trading potential is actually pretty good, but it takes a while for Camille to be able to out-trade that.
Okay.
Once she does, once she's got the Tiamat and is shoving him in, she'll be able to win out that matchup consistently. I still favor the Brawlers, and I think they've got a much better draft, but I don't want to discount the fact that Saints actually have some tools to be able to execute the same way they did in Game 1.
Sound very much like you're on the edge, but I'm going to ask you to plant your flag. Where
I'm going to
are
go Brawlers.
Going Brawlers. You know what? I've gone opposite you every time so far, and I've been wrong every time so far. So why break that trend? I'm going to go for the Saints.
See, it's not entirely unplausible to see the Saints win this one. The Camille can pin Malphite to a side lane and stop him from ever joining those 5v5s, which is a crucial part of their composition. They need the Malphite to be involved in those 5v5s. Otherwise, the Tahm Kench just eating up the target that's hit by the Ashe every time becomes that much easier, to execute on. And the Heimerdinger is just going to sit mid, farm up, and be fine, not be touchable by anyone. So, if they can stall out the game and not be caught out by these big team fight AoEs and be able to split the map effectively, Cardiff Saints can try and execute what they did on Game 1. But if the laning phase slips away from them, if they start to fall behind on those initial lanes, the game falls apart. They're going to lose those 5v5s. They're going to be forced to take fights that they don't want to for objectives, and they're going to die continually.
So, Twitch analysts, you've done your world pick'ems, hopefully. You've just heard what Papa Sin had to say.
Damn one's winning worlds, by the way.
Big old call that is, especially considering you haven't got that in your pick'ems.
Yeah, I know. It's a 50-50 between Damwon and G2, but I'm calling it Damwon right now.
Okay. So the question is, for the last time tonight, who do you think is going to win this game? I promise you right now, I will be going through this VOD. I will be giving a personal shout-out next week to anyone who happens to get all three of these games right, because if you've done as accurately as Sin is in these first two games, you're playing for a lot of pride right now. A personal shout-out for the Greyheart himself.
That would be amazing to be
Not
shouted
just-
out by this man next to
Not
me.
just the Greyheart, but also the Greyheart dressed in whatever you happen to vote for on my Twitter.
Count Staniel as probably my option.
Yeah, is that what you went for?
I haven't voted yet.
Dude,
because
come on, don't do me like this.
I don't believe
Sort
in Twitter.
that out!
I don't believe in Twitter impressions. It's not my religion.
We all have different religions. So anyway,
It's against my people to vote on Twitter impressions.
well, there we go. Certainly not against mine. So get out there. Greyheart99, as you just saw on Twitter, ignored the bit where it says I am Stan Lee Barker. That's just not my name.
No, his name is Staniel Dorian Gray Inkheart Barker.
It's not Inkheart. But
What is it?
No.
What is it?
No one knows. Well, I do, obviously, and my best friend knows, but that's it.
Okay.
You may find out
It's
one
a
day.
different book.
If you ever get it right, I will tell you.
I don't know enough books.
Oh, well, how about
I don't
how
read.
How about the
I
fact?
play video games. You think I know how to read? I am subliterate.
How about the fact? Okay, the heart isn't from a book; it's from a graphic novel. So there you go.
Oh.
Okay, so I'll let you have a think on that one. But anyway, yes, go out there, please. I'm legitimately really looking forward to seeing what outfit I get to wear next week. If I got to have my, I don't obviously get a vote on it, but if I got to have a vote, in fact, if it is a tie between any of them and this is one of them, I would absolutely go for Rorschach. I haven't done that since.
Rorschach's one of the options?
Yeah, I haven't.
I didn't see that.
I haven't done that since the very first time I cosplayed.
I'd vote
It's
Rorschach.
one of my favourite comics in any medium, and yeah.
See,
absolutely.
but you don't have the thing from the movie with the mask that changes constantly.
It doesn't change, but it does have a cool pattern that does move a little bit. It's like
yeah. Is it a classic pattern from like the cover art?
It's the classic. Is it a butterfly? Is it a whatever?
the classic
and,
one. Yeah.
But it also has a cool thing where if you breathe, the ink it doesn't change, but you get like an extra ink pattern that comes, so it makes it look like it's changing. It's
Okay, so is it like heat sort of changes it? Okay, that's an
It's
interesting.
not incredible,
idea.
but I like it.
That's an interesting pattern anyway, because like the way it looks in the movie is terrifying.
Oh, it's just amazing. Like
it looks like you're tripping.
that movie for me isn't like I really like the movie, but it's not half as good for me as the actual graphic novel is.
But like I don't want to
still a great
spoil. I don't
novel.
want to spoil the ending of the graphic novel for anybody. But how they messed up the ending,
They changed.
They had to change it because they couldn't put the graphic novel ending into cinematic format and have anybody take it even remotely seriously.
But here's the thing: they could put that into cinematic format. Unfortunately, another thing they could put into cinematic format left me scarred for life because I like I say, Watchmen, favorite graphic novel of all time, absolutely love it. No, that's not the graphic novel that Heart comes from. And
Vibe check.
And because I was so excited, I bought premiere seats to my local IMAX to go and watch Watchmen when it first came out. So I am front and centre in an IMAX, like 60-foot screen, and middle of the film. Dr. Manhattan's giant blue wang is just in my face. Like this.
Oh God.
Scarred for life, buddy.
Please don't tell me Dr. Manhattan's on one of your listed outfits for next week.
I can't look at Smurfs the same way.
Oh no.
So, this is what happens when we have pauses at Belong Arena Clash.
God.
We're going to be bringing you into the game just as quickly as possible to do our very best to get that out of your mind.
I do think they adapted it at least decently.
Oh yeah, I really like it. I just don't like it even close as much as the graphic novel, which I love.
It's probably the best Zack Schneider movie.
Ooh, that's a big statement.
I mean, it's over that or 300.
Yeah.
I'm a big film guy myself.
The thing that I really just like, oh my god, like I can't listen to the song Hallelujah anymore because of that scene.
Oh yeah.
That was painful.
That was
and then the
weird,
flamethrower, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw that in full IMAX as well. Big yikes. Moving really
Owl
swiftly
Man.
on. No. Oh, dearie me.
I can't help but call him Owl Man.
That's fair. Like Night Owl, close enough. You know, it's basically Batman. Let's tell it like it is. Did you know that you may have caught up on this, but there's a new Watchmen series.
Yes, but I've chosen not to watch it because I may have mentioned this to... I can't remember who I mentioned it to already. Somebody was telling me, I'm really excited for the Watchmen series. Like, yes, but do you know the person who wrote it is also the person who wrote Star Trek Into Darkness, Batman vs. Superman, and Lost?
You see, Lost, I love for the first few
Later
seasons.
episodes of Lost.
Oh, no.
He was a co-writer who wrote later episodes of Lost.
I've watched the first two episodes. No, just the first episode.
Okay.
And it's solid because it's essentially in the universe of Watchmen, but it's not Watchmen as you know it.
Yeah.
And actually, what they're doing with it so far, I'm willing to give it a few more episodes to try. I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
So,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they're really going with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm
okay.
okay.
Oh
so
right. Yep. Do you want to?
Unfortunately, we've had some issues with that third and final game, so we're actually going to move on to our next series right now rather than have a delay. Unfortunately, we won't be finding out the conclusion just yet, but we do have another series to bring you, which is, I believe, the Bristol Smugglers this time around.
Yeah, they're going.
Your boys.
They're going up against the Harriers, who are from Kingston. Unsure exactly.
Where is Kingston?
A capital of Jamaica. So we are.
That was what I was thinking as well. Like, no, that's not right.
Every time I hear it, I just think I've been made royalty. So the Kingston Harriers, you see, they are going to be Zuni, Coffee, Phantom, Regan M, One Man Army, and Packy Macky 99.
And on the other side is Recollect, Disperse, Zazor's, Knight V, by the way, Empress, and Hyphen.
An apology to Pocky Mocky. I'm having some slight issues with my contact lenses, and I think they were O's that were blurring.
They
into
were
A's for me.
O's indeed, but I tried not to comment on
Pocky
it to
Macky,
save
Packy
you.
Macky. It's you know what? It's all.
I
happening
tried
today.
to save you, Stan.
I mean, you tried to save me, but my mind is already just destroyed by sodding duck to Manhattan. So you know, it's all gone to hell tonight. Speaking of all gone to hell, don't know what's happened with Game 3 of the series. Don't know if we're going to be able to bring you at the end of this cast or not. Obviously,
if we get an update, then we'll let you know.
Absolutely, but as it is, we are going to be jumping straight into what is another best of 3 series. Again, another Bristol team, and we are straight into pick and bans.
Okay, but we know from my draft predictions that who would have won the last game anyway.
You were on the fence, dude.
Bristol Brawlers are going 2-1. I'm saying that the Cardiff Saints had a reason they could win, but Bristol Brawlers were going to win 2-1, let's be real.
Alrighty, well, Kane's going to be the first ban taken away. Bristol Smugglers removing that one from the Kingston Harriers. Bristol Smugglers are currently 1-0 in the group. I believe this is Kingston Harriers' first game of the Belong Arena Clash Winter Splits. They are currently a 0-0.
Okay, so the Malzahar ban. Oh, Glacial Champions being banned. Oh, it's like somebody predicted this. It's like somebody said that these would be the highest priority champions in Arena Clash.
Kled is also banned away. Let's see if we're going to get ourselves another Glacial ban.
And the Kled ban, interesting one. I wonder if there is actually a target away from Regan M or High BMI Low IQ, which is a username I absolutely adore.
I mean, it's not nice Penta idiot, but I'll give you it's pretty nice.
Okay, but this is the one I like.
Yeah, that's why it's not as good.
And then there's I Throw Axes. So that has to be a Draven player, right? Doesn't it?
I was immediately my mind went to Olaf because of what we saw in the last game, but yeah, it's got to be a Draven main, right?
It's got to be a Draven main, but like if you base it on the positioning at the very least. But that is a
100%.
Rek'Sai ban, which tells me that Coffee wants to play Lee Sin.
Or maybe he's just a real-life Viking.
Oh, yeah, maybe he is like an axe tosser from from the Celtic era. Hey, I'm talking about units from Total War, thanks. They're called the Axe Tossers for a reason. They toss axes.
I'm sure they do. Meanwhile,
hey,
the Rek'Sai...
I like to get the mod for the Celtic characters. So you have the characters that cut off one of their allies' heads and then throw it at an enemy to lower morale of the enemy.
Sure, they're just going to lower your own morale. You're cutting off your own teammate's head.
It's historically accurate, and that's what's more important there, because they genuinely did that. Obviously, early Draven pick. You got it available, why not take it?
I mean, you say that, but it's leaving the Rakan Xayah available, and also in the Kingston Harriers not
so
opting
they're going
to ban
Draven and Xayah. It's Xayah mid this game.
Why not? Kingston Harriers not opting to ban their third champion away. They could have taken away that Xayah, but maybe they had it removed for a reason. Perhaps they were late to start.
No, I think they're fine playing Draven into Xayah. Draven is actually a really good matchup into Xayah because she wants to out-trade him with the feathers and pull him back. Draven just ends up walking up to her, hitting her in the face 3 times and just
do you really want to play anything into Xayah Rakan, though? It's so potent as a bot lane duo.
With Nautilus Draven, yes.
Okay.
I think this bot lane is far stronger, and it's going to come down to jungle interaction to change this lane.
Well, speaking of junglers, we've already seen the Jarvan locked in for the Bristol Smugglers, the Bristol _Smugglers. While we do see Regan here is about to pick, I would be very surprised if he didn't pick up a jungler for himself, leaving us for top lane and mid lane bans.
You mean Bristol _Space Smugglers?
Ah, the Space Smugglers. They're Han Solo.
It's like our old
no
friend
I love these
Doc
guys.
_Da.
Friend?
Friend?
So anyway, nah, love that guy. Big shout out to Harry and Will and the rest of the team. But meanwhile, we do see the Camille locked in, most likely to go up into the top lane, which does mean that the bans might be shifted up a little bit from the Bristol Smugglers.
So we're seeing a Camille in both games on this side of the draft.
Maybe
as
Camille's
well.
what produced the bug. Maybe we don't get to see this game either.
Oh, we just go home straight away.
Nah. We want to bring more quality
we want
League
more
of Legends.
quality casting and quality League of Legends.
I can promise you one of those two things.
I can promise you half of one of those things.
Fair. Yeah.
It's either half decent casting or a half decent game. You don't get both.
I'm still thinking about Dr. Manhattan. It's like, come
For
on.
God's sake, Stan!
Garen and sorry, that's not Ricard. Garen and Zed are the bans so far. Top lane priority being
So
put
they
there by
missed a
Kingston
ban.
Harriers.
I'm wondering if they put that in the chat and inform the other team, because generally, if you miss a ban, they can message the other team and say, it was meant to be this, and they'll generally
I
let you
do
away
know
with
that
it.
sometimes in Long Arena Clash, if a team is like late for signing in, they sometimes lose a ban. So,
But losing the third ban is not what happens. You always lose the first one. That's always the rule.
I mean, maybe they got confused. Maybe they did do what you said. Maybe they didn't. We may never know. But what we do know is Aurelia and Casted were the last two bans, and now we have to see what iThrow Axis opts for. I'm expecting to see a jungler here, unless that Camille is going to be floating around the rift.
I actually really don't like the Aurelia and the Zed bans there, because you've got such a AD focused team already. If you went for a Zed on top of this, you could literally just pick Malphite and then win the game. So going for a Sejuani is really nice when you've got this melee solo laner of the Camille already. She has been nerfed quite a fair amount though, so she is significantly weaker than the last time we saw her.
Alrighty, we're going to see the solo lanes locked in for the Bristol Smugglers. They have the chance to counterpick against the Camille. They must show blind for their mid laner.
So they could choose to still go Talon, but I'd like to see an Echo mid now for Regan, which would perfectly synergize with Sejuani and would keep up with the wave clear to pressure out Kayle in the mid lane.
I'm expecting to see another flex pick here, so that the Kayle could potentially flex between mid, could flex between top. Let's see exactly what Disperse locks in for the Pigeon Empress and Knight V. This
Probably
could,
Vlad.
This could heavily,
Vlad's gone.
heavily impact exactly what this is a short. It's not a short name. What this is a
Oriana.
short name picks up now. It's going to be the lock-in of the Clockwork Lady, and that is going to leave a potential counter pick available as Regan looks to really make his intentions known.
Okay, so Kayle in the top lane looking to hard scale against either the Akali,
Most
or
likely
the
Camille.
Camille. I think you could flex this easily and go for the Akali top lane, which is much more of a bully matchup into the Kayle, and play the Camille mid, relying on the Sejuani to set you up, which isn't impossible. All the same, the Oriana will have a much better laning phase, but the kill pressure is far greater for both solo lanes if you do that.
Yeah, one of the things I've enjoyed the least today is talking about the worst bits from Watchmen. One of the things I've enjoyed the most is listening to you dissecting the team compositions. With what we have in front of us, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling like Kingston Harriers have have a really good draft in terms of what they're aiming to do, but it's volatile. And again, you have to look at the Bristol Smugglers and think about what we talked about last series. Ease of execution, layering of ultimates. Jarvan, Oriana, Zyra Khan, and Kayle. That is such an easy press R to win composition to utilize around objectives that if they don't lose out hard in the laning phase, like we said last time, then they should be able to arrive to those 5v5 fights and win out.
There is so much snowball potential, well, for both teams, but especially for the Harriers, however. If this Draven does manage to get ahead, as it so often does in lane, if this Akali starts to get fed, it could be very, very difficult for the Smugglers. But from what I'm hearing you saying, you feel that they're going to be able to execute their comp better.
I think the Bristol Smugglers are going to take this one. I think that the Jarvan's going to have a larger impact than the Sejuani, and then it's going to be able to impact that bot lane matchup enough to the point where the Draven doesn't get his natural advantage that he should do.
What kind of Bristol Smugglers fan would I be if I didn't predict the Bristol Smugglers to win as well? But that being said, I've got all of my predictions wrong today, so I'm going to say the Harriers take this one.
Okay, you're going with the...
I'm trying to go full Chronicler.
Yeah,
on
you're going
this.
the Moritz Chronicler Musen strat.
Maurice?
Moritz Musen. Okay. I tried. That's the best I can do.
I remember the first time I ever had to say it on cast. And he looked at me with a look
He
of
always
genuine...
looks at everybody with like it seems
look-
almost like contempt.
He looks
but
at
it's
me
like it's like loving contempt. Like
Oh,
I
you hate to see
appreciate
that.
you trying, but I hate you.
He looked at me with genuine surprise that I'd got it so close, and then it just got worse from then on. Speaking of getting worse, this is a short name. Throwing the dredge line, I believe trying to connect with the turret, missing that. Not a great sign of things to come.
0% hook accuracy. Awful game.
30 seconds.
Report the support. Meanwhile, look at this. We've got
God,
both the
the five-man
teams stacking up.
stacks.
I'm liking the Bristol Smugglers stack a little bit more here. Feels like that they have a lot of potential to completely catch the Harriers out.
So you got a New York stack versus a double bacon cheese stack.
Ooh. Can I stack them together to create a Greyheart stack?
Just a like 8-foot tall burger.
Yes.
Oh god, that sounds sickening. I feel unwell just thinking about that.
I felt unwell already, so I'm okay now.
You just want to put me off now. That's your aim here.
Oh, this is so tense. The 5-man stacks, neither of them meeting each other. However, the recall's being completed by some members of the Bristol Smugglers, who are now potentially walking towards their doom. They're about to walk into this 5-man unit. Are they going to stay together? They're taking a much safer path, going around a potential Krugs. They are going to arrive at this buff just as it spawns, but they are going to arrive straight into the 5-man unit of the Kingston Harriers, who immediately decimate the Huracan, deleting him from the rift, stealing away the red buff. Thanks for coming, Smugglers. This one's ours.
They're just sitting in the brush, everybody going, shh, don't tell anyone, we're here.
Oh, Zazors goes back in. He gets connected.
Oh, no.
The root. That's going to be a kill for iThrow. Axes. He cashes in on all of... Oh, wait. He didn't have anything to cash in on, but he still gets himself an early kill.
That's still an extra 55 gold he picked up on that kill between the Triumph proc and, of course, the kill from the kill gold you get from your passive. Just so much extra gold that he can continue to get as the game goes on. But Coffee's not done. He's already walking into bot lane, trying to force them off. He's not letting them live.
I'll tell you what, Coffee 1, 2, 3 is absolutely just trying to make the plays right now. As we do get ourselves a little bit of a break in the action at the 2-minute mark. I do have some sad news if you're a Cardiff Saints fan, perhaps good news if you are a Bristol Brawlers fan. Turns out that unfortunately the Saints, they had an infraction of the rules and forfeited the final game of that series.
What was that?
So I don't know what the rule was in question, but all I know is that the Bristol Brawlers take that series 2-1 by default.
See, I knew that would happen.
You got it right for all the wrong reasons. Meanwhile, Zazors and Coffee duking it out. That's going to be the lock-up, the knock-up onto the jump, and the flash forward. Akali looking for a first kill. Flash away from the Sejuani. Orianna flashing response, trying to get a kill in return, but now Surely is just going to get completely turned around by the Akali. Meanwhile, in the top lane, look at this Camille trying to get a kill onto the Pigeon Empress. This is a 3-0 start for the Kingston Harriers, and they're chasing down the Orianna.
Oh, God.
Sure to make it a 4-0. Knight trying to get to safety, does not have the flash available, still has the barrier, but look at the damage coming out of Regan M. That's going to be another kill for the Kingston Harriers, who have got themselves a 2,000 gold lead at 3 minutes.
You know what? I'm happily surprised with the aggression that's come through from the early game of the Kingston Harriers, and with 3 kills to the Akali, it's near impossible to stop this now. And so, the Akali, 3-0 with this laning advantage, with all this kill gold for herself, has to now snowball her advantage into other lanes. She can continue to kill Orianna all she wants. She needs to make sure the Camille will consistently win out. She needs to make sure this Draven will consistently win out. Then the game can be theirs so fast.
The Pigeon Empress already almost completely out of mana, trying to get as much CS as possible in the turret, but as we just saw, missing out on some of it already. A better start for the Camille, who obviously has that 1 assist to her name. Going in, but wanting more than this, wanting a kill. Does have the flash available, but opting not to go underneath the turret. Meanwhile, Jarvan looking for a potential pickup here. It's going to be, this is a short name, trying to step away, getting caught out by one knockup, but it's Zezos, who is so very, very low. And I throw axes. He just throws axes for days. He forces the flash and he follows in suit, throwing them down. This is why you gotta ban the Draven. I throw has not thrown the game. He's just thrown the axes. He gets a triple kill. He gets shut down eventually, but my word, look at this purchase. There's a BF sword, there's a long sword, there's another long sword, all the swords for Draven, all of the money for the Kingston Harriers.
Oh god, I don't feel so well. That was disgusting from I throw axes. Just dominant play, chaining every single axe together, just chaining every member down so happily, and picking up 3 kills for himself.
I love that we call him iThrow Axis. His name is iThrow. His clan tag is Axis.
Yes, but it's one name.
That's so wonderful.
It's great. It's one name.
Oh my word, absolutely incredible stuff from the Kingston Harriers, starting things off with a 7-1 kill lead at 5 minutes. We are more than a kill a minute. This is the action we want to see on Belong Arena Clash. We promised you either high quality League of Legends or high quality casting. Well, I know which one we're getting so far. Sorry, Sin.
Yikes. But all the same, this Draven already having a BF sword and double longsword into just a cull from the Xayah. This is done. We said it was possible for the Kingston Harriers to snowball this one, but I didn't think it would be so likely that the Coffee would struggle to have an impact compared to the Jarvan. It has been the opposite, and Coffee has been everywhere. Regan has snowballed so hard on this mid lane matchup, which generally is favoured towards the Orianna, and now top lane
Coffee
still going in favour.
Looking for a dive, tanking up a lot of the damage, but high BMI, low IQ, unable to pick up a kill as a result. Coffee does have to recall now.
You said that like unable to pick up the kill as a result. of him having high BMI and low IQ.
No, that's not what I meant.
But high BMI, low IQ, unable to pick up the killer as a result. So he's both dumb and fat.
Oh, the recall was cancelled out. That's going to be Zazos trying to get away. And actually, high BMI, low IQ, flashing himself away. Does find Kale on the other side of that wall, so he's going to have to take the blast cone to safety. However, not getting the kill, but doing pretty well regardless. Finally, Feather's starting to fly through the Draven, but he just does not care.
The thing is, now the Pigeon Empress has this level 6. The range now being available for Kale, this change that she now becomes ranged that little bit earlier, is so crucial to her being viable as a champion again, as they go in hard.
Dredgeline and Root both going to connect onto the Rakan. Zaya trying to throw Feathers in response, but look at the damage coming out of iThrow. Immediately Disperse and Recollect sent absolutely running with their feathered tails behind them. Meanwhile, we do see Recollect just throwing down as many of the much of the damage as possible, but here come the two junglers. Zazor's perhaps looking for a little bit of a catch. This is a short name, steps himself away, having taken a lot of damage. It's going to be a disengage from the Kingston Harriers. The gold lead has stabilised at the very least. It's not exaggerating any further in favour of the Kingston Harriers, but Regan trying to change that, going in hard. That's going to be the shockwave dashed away from the perfect execution, and Regan goes in. If he'd thrown the ignite down, perhaps would have got the kill, but in the end is happy to just get the barrier out of Night.
It doesn't have to blow any more than that, doesn't have to play more aggressive, but going for the dive!
Here we go again! I've seen this story before! It's got the same ending! This is a short name, gets a kill, but then gets killed, giving that one over to Zaya. Jarvan comes in for the counter engage. Meanwhile, iThrow does manage to get a kill, does manage to get some adoration stacks, but immediately gets killed on the back of that fight. Jarvan, the last man standing in bot lane.
But all that the Kingston Harriers need to do is keep accelerating the tempo of this game. They got more tower shots, they got more kills onto the Draven, and even if Zaya picks up a double kill there, it doesn't compare to the BF sword.
Bloodthirster.
Now into Bloodthirster. The Draven has for himself completed. And the Akali nearing her Gunblade already as well. Those are the one-item spikes that Kingston Harriers need to take any fight they want.
When did you last see an 8-minute Bloodthirster?
Han Summer versus a Rogue in spring 2019.
Wonderfully specific, but quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was when Misfits was actually a good team.
Oh, I miss Misfits.
They used to play extremely aggressive around bot lane. That was the only way they could win, and Han Summer was their solo carry potential with Draven.
Did they still have Alfari at that point, or had he moved on?
They didn't have Alfari anymore. It was
no, Maxwell was still
spring this year.
Yeah.
Like Alfari also joined a team that did terribly, unfortunately. Like
Sure
both
did.
of the teams was kind of good in spring, and then they just fell apart.
Oh, that's going to be the dredge line connecting. Featherstorm is available and is immediately used. We're going to see the recall of the Feathers. Recollect pulling that one in. Managed to get the double stun, but look at the damage comparison.
He just heals up.
He does. He just throws a couple of axes, and guess what? Full health bar Draven again. Yay!
Draven's such a fun champion, but he's so high roll. That's the thing. It may seem like Draven is extremely broken from some of the stuff you're going to see this game.
Knockup's going to land onto the Nautilus. It's going to be Zazors who's here as well, but iThrow actually just immediately steps forward, protecting his ADC. Usually it's the support protecting the ADC. This time it's the ADC protecting the support, and iThrow just zones off 3 people by himself.
Because that's the fun thing. Effectively right now, Draven's more tanky than Nautilus, because the damage he deals during a fight will give him that much more of a HP buff.
Oh, it's not even comparable at the minute. It's just iThrow is completely in charge of this game at 5-2-2 on the Draven.
Like, how can you let a guy named iThrow Axes get Draven? This is really rough for the Bristol Smugglers, and unfortunately, they got caught at customs. Couldn't Smuggle win out today, you don't think?
Okay, come on, new Smugglers. This is going to be a knockup. Landing yet again, this time onto Regan, but despite the ultimate being used by Disperse, it is he who is dispersed and sent back to the death chamber, and he is going to find himself with a nice old long respawn timer. That's all he gets for his trouble.
There's going to be another tower shot, and they're giving some of the gold to the Akali as well, who does a nice little shuriken flip and the dive back in, and another double kill.
Every dredge line
Easy
connects.
game,
No
easy
kills
line.
going over to the Bristol Smugglers. They're about to take first turret before 11 minutes into the game. Right now, this game is just an absolute ruffle stop.
You know, this is a joy to watch, seeing us snowball this hard, but if you're a Bristol Smugglers fan, like I know someone in this room is, it's going to lead to some sad times as I'm getting flipped off by my co-caster.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just showing the bird in, solidarity with Rakan and Zaya. Meanwhile, IBMI low IQ doing what he can to try and get his first kill of the game. So much damage being put down to the Kale, who manages to use the ultimate, but just finds the Sejuani ult to the face in response. Coffee123 takes away the kill from IBMI low IQ, who says, I just want to get involved in the game, guys.
Pigeon Empress, you have to say, has been playing this game very well. Slowed down the laning phase enough to be able to get towards this Gunblade, have the healing, have the damage necessary to get a CS lead. But because the rest of the map is losing so hard, and this Jarvan's 1 and 4, your game's done. Your game's over. You just pack it up and go home.
Counterpoint, let's go Smugglers!
Yeah. Let's go Smugglers. Yeah.
Oh, I laugh because otherwise I would cry. The Kingston Harriers are looking so good. Earlier on today we talked about the Cardiff Saints looking dominant as yet again we are going to see the depth charge just completely catching Night V out. However, this time there's a little bit of a counteraction as the nice use of the Shockwave is going to send the Camille very, very low. Flash forward from Rakan trying to get a kill. Not quite able to do it because she's taking heal instead of ignite. This is a short name, gets charmed up, uses the stopwatch, goes golden, buying time for the rest of the team to arrive. Sejuani is going to be a little bit of a defensive point. Draven, meanwhile, just doing whatever he wants to in the top lane all by himself. He just wants turret plates. Meanwhile, the Bristol Smugglers just want to kill him. They can't even get that.
And in a 4v2, Bristol Smugglers almost get 1 kill. Almost. So good.
I freaking hate you, Sid.
They have such a high chance of winning this game. It's unfortunate for them because they have to start looking like, okay, like if this was a scrim, I know a lot of teams would have just FF'd by now and gone, okay, we got to go next.
Can't do that for 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
They can't even. But the thing is, they literally just quit the scrim, and then the match ends when all 5 people from one team have left. So,
Oh, no.
Draven's just
ultimate is not available for Pigeon Empress. We are going to see teleport.
He's going to 1v2 now.
This is going to be Recollect join the fight. I'm not sure this is a move that Recollect wants to take, but opting into it nonetheless. Everybody's going up to the top side. This is leaving the Kingston Harriers jungle free time, taking away the Ocean Dragon. This is a short name, managing to get the root, pulling back, dispersed with the dredge line. Rakan having to get out to safety. Now we're going to see Zazos join the fight, using the Cataclysm, getting it down on top of the Draven, but with between Camille and the Draven, there's just too much damage. IBMI low IQ finally has a kill. Akali and Draven take one for themselves as well, and yet again the fight has gone in favour of the Kingston Harriers, who have got 16 kills in 13 goddamn minutes. That's going to be a double kill for the Draven. Let's make it a triple. No! Says this is a short name. I want to double myself. That's an ace.
That's a 13-minute ace. While their jungler was just farming on the bot side and Akali was just auto-attacking a tower. That's a 3v5 in the top side. They kill all 5 and get an ace.
With 10 seconds left, more plates are being stripped from the Bristol Smugglers towers, and we have got ourselves a 10,000 gold lead pre-14 minutes. The Kingston Harriers in one of the most dominating shows, not just this season, but ever in the Belong Arena Clash. I'm not sure I have ever seen this level of demolition at this stage of the game in all of my time casting here.
This has been one of the most strong performances. We said that earlier about the Cardiff Saints. This, even with more deaths, is even stronger because they have been pushing the boundaries far beyond what is expected of them, far beyond what is necessary even to be able to win this game, as they have an 11k gold lead at just 14.5 minutes.
And I remember Bristol Smugglers, they won their game last week, so they're not realistically going to be the weakest team in this group. The Kingston Harriers, who are playing their first game, they're coming out and absolutely dominating.
Yeah, the Kingston Harriers having a pretty good time of it this game, but this is the thing that we are alluding to right now, because this has been fairly well played for the Bristol Smugglers just in terms of trying to slow it down. When they're this far down, it would be so easy for just open Nexus, open mid, everything falls apart, but they've been trying to compete. They've been getting close to getting some of these kills at the very least. Respect. And that's all about to end again.
Respect to that, but with the whirling death coming through, Coffee123 manages to pick up the kill onto the Zyra, and again, immediate control of the mid lane goes back over to the Kingston Harriers. You think you could push Smugglers? You were wrong.
You see, they're making this look like Legends of Runeterra, because all of the Bristol Smugglers look like they have about 20 HP. This has been just a devastating game. Really tough for them to play this. But the thing is, we talked about this again. As we mentioned this one, we were talking about this last week. the idea of tilt in these kind of games, how do you continue from a series where you've been destroyed this much, come back and then still compete?
Regan through the perfect execution there, looking for the potential kill onto the kill. Meanwhile, Jarvan, you are not locked in there with them. You're locked, no, other way around. They're not locked in with you. You're locked in with them. What are you doing? Herald is going to charge, already having taken down 2 turrets. It will get a third for itself as well. It's going to be the quickness used by Disperse, trying to survive, but the Ignite burning him down. Tick, 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 dead. And now we're going to see Regan. He's going to take a turret shot. He is going to die. This is a Nexus diving at 16 minutes. We're not going to get to see Shelly dancing, but it's pretty damn close.
And with the inhibitor falling at just 16 minutes, they are going to back off and reset. We could see potentially a stream record for the win time here. We've got to keep that in mind. I don't believe I've ever seen a game end in less than 19 minutes.
I'm not sure that I've seen a Belong Arena Clash game end without Baron having spawned, which is 20 minutes.
I believe we saw one end almost dead on 20 minutes last season. From memory. It might have been 21 minutes, but it was around that sort of mark.
Happy to believe you.
And I want to believe that that's the quickest that there has ever been on the broadcast. And I think that the Kingston Harriers are looking to keep that record for themselves and take that one away.
Well, their foot is very much so on the pedal. Exposed Nexus turrets. The mid lane is now pushing in favor of the Kingston Harriers, and they're taking anything they want from their own jungle or from the opposition as they go into it. Let's see where they turn their attention next. You've got to assume the Smugglers are just not able to fight right now. That is going to be an Infinity Edge Zeal, Bloodthirster Draven that has almost got itself 3 completed items and boots.
This is just devastating, unfortunately. I've been trying to get back, I've been trying to talk about this, but every single time I do, it seems like someone's about to die. They've got to think about next game. And
yes.
Because obviously you ban the Draven. Obviously you take that one away. You don't let that through again for a guy literally named I Throw Axes. I don't know if they thought, oh, that's just an Olaf jungle play or something, or if they just didn't look at the
No, only
account.
silly people think that.
Is that the trick though? He's named I Throw, so when you look him up, you don't realize that it's I Throw Axes, and you don't realize he's a Draven. Maybe even then, once you get into pick ban and you see his name's I Throw Axes, you gotta think, oh, maybe our game plan was flawed. But yeah, coming into the next one, banning that away does remove a lot of the early game pressure on the bot side of the map.
I know that right now, Rakan's Eye, they're having a bit of a rough time on the Rift, but how gorgeous are those skins?
Oh, they are. I love the kind of like the way the feathers almost become sort of talons for the Rakan when he ults.
And here they have an opportunity to pick themselves up a kill. This is Regan Ember, who's currently
escape.
7-1-2, gets himself out of dodge, no trouble whatsoever. Talking about banning the Draven, you've surely got to think about banning that Akali as well, because he's had a great game. Meanwhile, bottom lane inhibitor turret is under pressure. High BMI, low IQ, going straight in on the Pigeon Empress, who has got decent damage, trades back very, very nicely, but what's happening in the bot lane is far more crucial. That's going to be Nautilus. Draven and Sejuani just turn their attention to the red side jungle, picking up a free red buff for the Draven, then coming straight back to the turret.
Free red buff for Draven coming through. Gonna be easy to pick that one up. What?
Is that meant to be a me impression?
I don't know. That your voice just randomly went. You went red buff halfway through your sentence.
I have nothing to say for myself. I'm just sad for the Bristol Smugglers. Maybe that's what it is. It's a rough time in my life.
It's definitely a rough time here. You just watch the Bristol Smugglers' hopes and dreams slowly get crushed, like their objectives and their health bars and their score lines and their draft phase. And the draft was honestly, like, it was doable, but they needed to stop the early game snowball. And then Akali picked up 3 kills in one fight, and then Draven picked up 3 kills in one fight, and then the game was done. It started because of that aggressive level 1 where they all positioned at the enemy red buff. They all had absolute patience, just shh, nobody tell them we're here. And that play led them to then be able to take over the rest of the map and be able to consistently make plays with this advantage on the bot side. And Draven was just unstoppable, and the more members they committed to try and stop the Draven, the more kills they were handing.
The Harriers executed that early play to perfection, with both teams being a 5-man stack. It could have so easily gone in either team's favour. Speaking of execution, that is surely what is awaiting the Baron. We have got past the 20-minute mark. Baron is going to be taken, and this, with the 2 exposed inhibitors, with the 2 inhibitors down, is surely going to be the end of the game.
You have to think so. It's so difficult to fight back through this. The only member with some kind of anything resembling kill score is this Xayah, and unfortunately for her, the only reason she's got kills is she's being donated them when everybody goes hyper-aggressive to give Draven more kills.
Yep. Just turning my attention towards the item build here for Stage 1. That's going to be the Frozen Fist completed. IBG is here.
No. Frozen Fist is the Ornn upgrade for the item.
Oh, they actually changed the name.
Yeah,
I'm an OG player who used to call Iceborne Gauntlet Frozen Fist. So
it's so easy to call it Frozen Fist. It just looks like, if you've seen the image, it's the one episode of SpongeBob where he's got the giant ice gauntlet. It just looks exactly the same. It's literally the ice hand with the spikes on the knuckles. It's perfect. But all the same,
Iceborne Gauntlet, sorry.
Iceborne Gauntlet, Frozen Fist is the Ornn upgrade of it. You've got the Obsidian Cleaver and other ones like that as well. But yeah, just picking that one up, giving him that much armor, and when you have your passive active, the slow field is huge for that.
In my defense, like, Frozen Fist is what it was called before Ornn was a champion. It's just they decided to like follow an existing thing that was being called. Speaking of existing things, Night V, he's not existing anymore. He throws down the shockwave. Turret shots are going to catch. The Cataclysm is here, but Requiem's still alive. A turret falls. That is the final inhibitor turret down. Meanwhile, Akali is still alive. She flashed out of trouble, managed to keep herself safe. Inhibitor will fall for the second time here in the mid lane. The top lane one is already dead, and now it is just the Nexus turrets that stand between the Kingston Harriers and a surefire victory. The Bristol Smugglers going for one last big fight. We are going to see Coffee 123 taking down Zazor's jungler, kills jungler. Kale does manage to take down Nautilus, but Draven has already removed the Rakan. Now going forward, trying to pad out those stats. That's going to be a Draven that is still alive. Xayah does get a double kill, but eventually is destroyed, and that's going to be game number 1 to the Kingston Harriers in dominant fashion.
As the final hit comes through, it's going to be fittingly Draven getting the plus 50. And it is a dominant victory in 22 minutes, so not quite a record, but still
as if the Draven needed more gold.
The Draven needs that plus 50.
Yeah.
He needs that one extra health potion. That's how you win the game.
Certainly is, and that is how you win a game in absolutely
I still find that so funny.
Ludicrous
it's worth
fashion.
50 because every default summoned thing is worth 25. So somebody literally had to go into the game's code and specifically change Nexus to be worth 50. Because otherwise, as default, it would be worth 25.
So what's worth 25?
Like, the Tibbers was worth 25,
Okay.
the Daisy was worth 25, all those sort of large summoned things. So the Nexus was worth that initially, but somebody specifically had to change it.
Okay, cool. Stats from Sin. We are going to be getting into game 2 very, very shortly.
So where do you want to go
Smugglers.
eat after this? I'm thinking, what, about 25 minutes we can be out of here?
Well, I mean, you know, if that's anything to go by, then we've probably got time for an 8-course meal. So I'm pretty sure Belong will pay for that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The Kingston Harriers here, they've got blue side. They're still batting away the Malzahar. Bristol Smugglers, they've got to change something up. I'm expecting to see a pretty much instantaneous Draven.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Goodbye from the League of Draven.
Okay, all memeing aside, Bristol Smugglers have a chance to reset their mental and try and come back into this fresh and be able to take this series by storm, come back into it. But
We just saw the Bristol Brawlers do it.
exactly, after a really dominant display in Game 1, the Bristol Brawlers were able to have a Game 2 that they won through draft. There's no reason that the Bristol Smugglers should be able to do that, but at what point do they just feel like they're tilted and feel like this game's swayed too far against them? You know, the whole point of tilt is you make decisions that are harmful to you because you're in a bad mood from the game previously. And
I know all about that.
the thing is here, how afraid are they going to be of this bot lane? Because they don't have to be hyper afraid of something that isn't a Draven right now unless they get massively outdrafted.
Okay, well, we are going to see our first pick. The bans from the Harriers were Rakan, Vladimir,
Easy
Malzahar.
side pick.
Smugglers are going to go for Draven and also Kane and Kled taken away. Camille, which was pretty solid for high BMI, low IQ last time round, is going to be the instant lock-in.
Okay.
You look shocked.
Like the Camille first pick is an interesting one here because the Camille, not really high priority. That leaves a lot of high priority things still up. It means you don't want to go for the Xayah, you don't want to go for the Kai'Sa, you don't want to make sure you're getting the higher priority one of those in the style you want to play and trade. Instead, they're going to give Pyke Kai'Sa rather over. Then now you need like a Xayah plus a support that isn't going to be just exposed by Pyke.
I suppose you could take maybe a Braum, or you could just go full aggro and like go Ashe Zyra. Oh, Ashe Braum.
Ashe Braum is the,
Corellior
you
bot
get
lane.
Glacial 2. So it's an easy start, but
Are you feeling a little deprived of TFT tonight?
yes I am.
How are you going with ranked? Because obviously they've just released the little legends that you're going to get based on your rank.
I got some really bad habits, so I stopped playing ranked for a while. I got to gold 1, and then I just stopped playing ranked because I was like, I'm re-rolling far too often. I'm making some really poor decisions. I need to go into normals and iron these out first, but I'm going to try and push a bit further, at least get to plat before the end of the season.
I was just sort of minding my own business on the League client the other day, and then a guy who's known for streaming and being particularly high elo with TFT was just like, hey, do you want to play a game with us, doing a viewer game with one short? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then remembered, this guy is Diamond at TFT. Most of his viewers know what they're doing with TFT.
Yeah.
And I've not played TFT since before Hextech came out. And we played 2. I came 6th and 4th. I didn't feel horrific, but yeah, I've got a lot of learning to do. And
well, when there's a new set coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe
Speaking
save that
of
learning.
the new set, Renekton.
Yep, you're going to get all the Shurima. Cheers, Snuggly.
It was really interesting because we kind of assumed that was going to come through because of how the designers actually responded to his tweets, where he designed the Shurimans initially.
Absolutely amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Copied his homework.
some really good ideas, but unfortunately the Sun Disk thing didn't go through because that would have been absolutely amazing. And we didn't see Xerath either. Xerath would have been nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been talking about our Twitter, well, mostly my Twitter, especially today. But go check out Snuggly SNUGGLI on Twitter. He's a veteran of the Insomnia scene. He's picked up 1 or maybe even more wins at various Insomnias over the years, and he's made some pretty fantastic plays. And now he's made some pretty awesome stuff for TFT, which
he basically came up with the concepts, and Riot ended up responding to him.
Absolutely wonderful.
We love these concepts.
Right,
how would you implement? I think he said, how would you implement Azir? And then they said, okay, well, I'd implement Azir by doing XXY.
So good.
And then they just pretty much did exactly what his plan was for every single one of the champions. And it's great. It was really interesting.
Yeah, and it legitimately is interesting. So do go and check that out. Send him our love. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And he is, as his name says, very snuggly. Moving, however, to the matters at hand, the draft is nearing its completion, and we can already see the formulation here of the Smugglers picks. It's going to be the Jarvan going alongside that Renton pick that we saw earlier on. And you have just had your main champion, my former main champion, locked in. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely despise watching people play Evelynn because
I thought you did, yeah.
I know how to play Evelynn to a very high level, to the point where, like, I watch pro games of Evelynn and then
get tilted by it.
I literally pull up VODs, post them in the Evelyn's mains Discord of this is what a pro did on Evelynn, and you can see where he doesn't understand what the champion does, etc.
So unlucky, Coffee123, because you are under a magnifying lens for this game.
Under a fucking magnifying lens. This is gonna be. You're in hot water.
You certainly are, and you might be as well, Sin.
I
Meanwhile, Aurelia is going to be the final lock-in for Regan in the mid lane. I had a great performance last time round on the Akali. It wasn't banned away from him, but that is going to be the option. We're going to see Lissandra as the counterpick to that.
Okay, so Lissandra mid into Aurelia. They're going to be easy to lock him down. I like the team composition here for the Bristol Smugglers. You've got a lot of skirmishing potential. You've got a lot of lockdown. You've got a lot of pick potential as well between the Lissandra lockdown, the Pyke. Kai'Sa being able to jump in on anybody you Lissandra ultimate. I really like what they've done, but Kingston Harriers are probably just going to wipe this one clean because they've got a composition that works for themselves, and they showed how dominant they were in the last game. Unlike last time where I thought it would change around in between games, I actually think that the high BMI, low IQ, Regan M and Ithroaxis are actually all going to perform to the similar level that we saw last game.
Well, it's clear that my curse has reverted in some way, shape or form, and I actually doomed the Bristol Smugglers last time by going for the Harriers, so I'm going to go back to my allegiance. Come on, the Smugglers, let's turn it around just like the Brawlers did earlier, prove they're not just the noisy neighbours. Based on those completed drafts, however, I have to say it's looking pretty good. And my main concern, I know it will trigger you slightly seeing this Evelynn in the game. However, Coffee123 was wonderful on the Sejuani, had early impact, ganking presence was phenomenal. You give him something like an Evelynn that can do on do that with. Oh my word, I'm already terrified.
But Evelynn doesn't have early game impact. She's not a champion that has a lot of early game impact. Evelynn can only really gank if it's a sure thing, and that's what one of her biggest weaknesses is.
And the last time round, we saw the 2 5-man stacks. At first, they passed like ships in the night, but eventually, it was the Kingston Harriers who came on top as they waited around the red side jungle of the Bristol Smugglers. Once again, we are seeing these 5-man units. They look like they are on course to meet this time, and that is going to be Coffee immediately spotting out. We're going to see a slow catching on to Disperse, who actually pulls Coffee closer to himself. That's going to be a nice grip hook coming in as high BMI forces the flash and Disperse. Again, the worst start for the Bristol Smugglers.
It's at least a nice start as you get the flash away from Disperse, who can be stun locked, can be locked up and slowed continuously. You can stick to him quite easily with this Glacial bot lane, so it's really easy to be able to pick him off if he steps too far forward now. He doesn't have the cleanse, that's on Recollect. So a lot of this comes down to how the laning phase gets played. If Ashe is able to get any kind of advantage using her range advantage in this bot lane, it all goes horribly because Disperse can't do anything about it now.
Certainly can't. All right, well, a definite better start for the Kingston Harriers 2 times in a row. We saw how they were able to snowball that last time. That time we see Akali picking up 2 kills inside 3 minutes. That definitely didn't happen this time, especially as there's no Akali in the game. But Regan on the Aurelia can have the same sort of impact if given those opportunities.
So what's the best Evelynn skin, Stan?
We've had this conversation a few times. I am a big fan of Tango.
Okay. I think Tango looks way worse now. I used to think it was my favorite.
No, actually, I completely agree. To be fair, I think almost all the skins look worse since the rework. KDA is pretty cool, but Masquerade probably at the moment. Actually, hold on just a second, because we have got a fight in the bot lane. Disperse is about to get himself stunned up. He is, of course, the Pike, so he's going to be able to heal up a lot of that damage. Meanwhile, Axel has taken a huge amount of damage from Redirect, but he just dashes straight forward, and for another game, picks himself up an early kill here in the bot lane. The stun is going to land on the Recollect, and Disperse punished for his earlier aggression.
Yeah, no flash available to him. He just gets run down by a Braw, who just walks up slowly and auto-attacks him to death. It's unfortunate for him, but that's what happens when you step up too far and you don't have flash available because you burned it at level 1. This bot lane is designed to lock you in place. If you don't have your flash available, you're done.
So I remembered the answer that I wanted to give you, and it's Safecracker actually. Really love Safecracker, and you know what? I really love watching Regan play. In the last game, his Akali was on point. In this game, going in on the Aurelia, doing a great job at Night V, looking a little bit safer on this. Lissandra has also got Zezels for company. He had a rough game last time around. Let's see if he can make the early game impact this time.
But this is the difficulty though. He's up against an Aftershock Lissandra. So basically the entire time he's trading, he's just trying to proc Conqueror, wait for the Aftershock to wear off, and then fight back against her.
Pigeon Empress there was taking a lot of damage, and now we do see Disperse going in, going aggressive once more. We see Ifroax is so low, doesn't have the heal available, doesn't have a flash, is just going to out and out die to the Kaiser, who's now looking for a second kill. 1 stack of Plasma is here, but we do see Coffee just waiting in the wings. Goes in, the double kill already secured.
Yikes.
Could even be a triple kill, but instead Recollect had flashed to safety, didn't want to give over a kill to the Akali. Great start for the Bristol Smugglers bot lane.
That was a really poor start from Coffee, though, who ends up blowing his flash for absolutely 0 gain. And now 2 kills back to Recollect. That bot lane is suddenly turned in their favor because Ifroaxis just wasn't playing in the right position, ends up being caught out of position from the Braum shield, which would have been able to block most of that Kai'Sa damage.
And crucially on this recall as well, we can see the pickaxe purchased by Kai'Sa. Meanwhile, having a little look at Regan, he's really caught out. Flash away from Lissandra, able to get saved even following the E-Trail. Meanwhile, we do see that Regan actually picks up the kill, courtesy of the Ignite. Does get killed immediately after by the Pigeon Empress, who had joined in the mid lane.
And the 1-for-1 trade in a 1v3 for Regan there is so crucial, because in the meantime, his top lane is getting an advantage, pushing a huge wave into this tower, trying to deny it away from the Renekton. And he's still managed to get that kill gold and is not being denied all that much to this tower that quickly. They're just going to hope they can get this tower shard to even it up.
And that is not even going to happen, because immediately with the Evelynn coming into mid lane, the wave is cleared out and Lissandra backs away. Meanwhile, Disperse is looking for yet more aggression. He is going to get caught out. He doesn't manage to land that axe. We've got a 3 versus 2, but this time Ifroax is in a much safer place. Flash away from this is a short name as he tries to get away from the flag and drag Zezels, putting that Demacian standard down, but not able to catch on to the Brawl. Meanwhile, Ashe gets 1 kill. He's going to get a second onto Disperse as well. Easy as you like that. Ashe turning a 3 versus 2 in favor of the 2. Kingston Harriers with another couple of kills in the bot lane. A 3-1-0 Ashe. This is more like the Ifroaxes we knew from last game.
Yeah, it seems like Draven's a coin flip champion. This is a coin flip bot lane yet again, back and forth. Double kill to Kai'Sa, now a double kill back for the Ashe. And suddenly, all is still to play for in this bot lane in favor of the Ashe at the moment, but still needs to be able to capitalize on that advantage she has.
Meanwhile, Pigeon Emperor's doing what he can to try and CS up in lane. Is considerably down on health in comparison to high a BMI, a low IQ. The Pigeon Emperor is just standing off, having to wait until his turret comes close enough for him to actually pick up some of the spoils.
So, unfortunately for Coffee, struggling to find an impact pre-6, but all the same, with his team having a 1k advantage, he is being given all the time in the world to get to level 6, knowing his laners are pretty much winning out naturally.
Requiem there getting frozen up, getting stunned, dispersed, joining for company as well. Throws out the dagger, but it's not going to connect the harpoon, not pulling anybody back this time. And Coffee's joining for company, forcing the flash out, disperse. He seems to have spent more time in this game without a flash than actually having one. This is going to be Zizors joining in, making a 3v2, making it a kill for the Jarvan, having a much better game than he did last time round.
And trying to play on the knife's edge again. Regan is going to get punished this time around. Now 1 and 2, still with that 34 CS, is keeping up, hasn't been punished all too much, and he still has pressure onto Knight V at most phases of this game. You can't disrespect him, and you know it's going to get worse as time goes on, because Lissandra just gets more and more outscaled.
Ah, well, you know what they say, live by the longsword, die by the Tiamat. That was exactly what it was for the Bristol Smugglers, that age-old saying coming true once again, as an Infernal Dragon is picked up by the Bristol Smugglers.
Well, they're going to get the Infernal Dragon, and already 4-4 with that Dragon going over, even with a 500 gold deficit. This game looks far better than the last one did.
It really does. Bristol Smugglers, they may be slightly down on gold, but they're certainly finding some good plays. And actually, the over-aggression of Kingston Harriers is one of the things that's being punished.
Yeah, the aggression just continuing from last game, you have to say, where maybe they're a bit overconfident because last game was such a strong, dominant performance from them, that they think it's just going to carry through so easily. And unfortunately for them, it's not that easy. It doesn't just come so naturally to them. And they need to build up that advantage from nothing again, and Ashe isn't really that same champion to snowball the same advantage.
Aurelia coming in, looking for potential dive here in the top lane. Recollect does not have the flash available, neither does Disperse. With the poke coming through from Ashe, will Aurelia look to go in with the Vanguard's Edge. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Pigeon Empress gets dove upon as High BMI dashes out, dashes back in again. Again, the Crocodile getting the worst of these trades against the Camille. Meanwhile, Aurelia still waiting in that bush in the bottom half of the map, still waiting for things to be pushed up. Coffee is going to catch Knight V out with the taunt. He was just trying to complete a recall, but he couldn't even do that. Disperse does manage to spot out what is going on, but he gets immediately caught out by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and that's going to be another kill, this time going over to Regan.
And a nice tower shard going over, splitting the gold amongst the three of them as well. And maybe a second one. So much gold going over off of that one kill, and I like this. They're trying to snowball that small advantage into more and more around the map. More and more gold to all the members, splitting this up, and now the Aurelia is 2 and 2. She can look to extend her advantage against the Lissandra because she's winning out trades consistently. How long is it until we see a solo kill?
Crucially, on that back on mid lane that Knight V went for, did have to burn the flash because of Coffee showing on the Eve, so a key summoner spell missing for Knight V as we see Pigeon Empress going in, but actually, yet again, getting the worst of the trades. Hextech Ultimatum is available, and High BMI low IQ could just go for this one. Nice Widowmaker as the wall as Coffee 1-2-3 gets to safety.
Yeah, going to use that Agony's Embrace to be able to get back over the wall. And being able to hold on to that earlier, but wow, high BMI, low IQ.
That's not a low IQ
kill.
play.
High IQ, 3 billion IQ play to be exact.
We're going to say 3 billion PMI. Meanwhile,
oh god!
Knight V, he has got the ultimate available to himself. If we do see Regan step under turret, he will immediately get blasted by that Frozen Tomb, and that's exactly why he's not able to continue pursuing for this kill.
All the same now, because Renekton isn't building the Spear of Shojin that we know is... Oh, Evelyn coming in for the kill maybe.
Camille's come in with the teleport. Coffee comes in
Evelyn
with the charm.
Kill.
That's going to be Recollect dying in his... well, whatever position that was, he died. He's dead, and now he's got to wait things out. Meanwhile, Coffee, as you say, getting a kill. How have you been feeling with this Evelyn play so far? We'll come back to the minute because Vanguard's Edge has been thrown down. We see Regan making a play as Coffee who gets the kill, second of the game, and then Chantero doesn't quite connect, but there's still going to be more kills for the Kingston Harriers, as that's going to be Evelyn with the double kill. We are looking at a 3-0-0 Coffee 1-2-3.
Big boy, please. This is the time and the hour that Kingston Harriers need to continue to keep up this pressure. They need to snowball their advantage. They don't want to leave this game up to chance. They don't want to leave this game up to a late game team fight. They want to take control of it. They want to grab it by the horns, and they want to steer it directly into the wall.
Oh, as we saw Evelyn managing to get over the wall and absolutely out to safety. Renton not quite in time to slice and dice and get a stun. Meanwhile, Zazors is going to get spotted out by that ward, as this is a short name. Doing a good job of keeping his vision score up.
Now, we look at the items coming through, and I'm actually looking at that 6-stack Dark Seal from Evelyn. Demolto. Absolutely perfect.
You're a fan.
This is what you do. You get an early Dark Seal on your AP junglers. You always do it, because it's so valuable, because you always start refillable potion.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, I used to do it back on Eve, back in the, looking for the Magi's early on. It was
it's
great.
just so valuable because its
Before
sell
Dark Seal's
value is
around.
pretty decent. And it just means that even if you do lose all the stacks, you just sell it later, and it didn't cost you all that much. But the investment is worth the stats initially, and if it lasts until later and it starts to snowball, it's worth even more, as unfortunately Renekton's going down.
He's used the Dominus, he's trying to get a kill in return, and here's Disperse, has got the ultimate available, he's going to use it, he's going to take down High BM Milo IQ. In the end it is a 1-for-1, but of all the extra gold is going to go over with the Pike. Obviously with his passive is able to get extra gold to his team. Meanwhile, we do see that now the Herald is the next bit of attention for the Bristol Smugglers. Got to be very, very careful here. Aurelia is continuing to split push, he's easily going to get a turret for herself. That will be the first of the game. The Herald will go down in response, however, and that'll be even more turret plating for the Bristol Smugglers, who are at least making some nice picks. Nice teleport coming in. This is going to save the turret in the bot lane. This is going to mean that actually everything in this particular play goes in favour of the Bristol Smugglers, apart from one kill they gave over.
Unless this one goes in favour of the Aurelia as well.
Oh, we shall see. Regan is certainly quite fed. He's looking for the 1v1 and does not manage to dash back. Instead, it's the Pigeon Empress who jumps on down with those mighty crocodile teeth and manages to get a kill. Enchanted Crystal Arrow thrown down to try and stop the summoning of the Rift Arrow, but it was too late. The Herald was summoned. The ult was wasted. More turret plays being got by the Bristol Smugglers.
And this is unfortunate for them, as they have to give up so much gold, but that is split amongst all these members. After the Pike pick already came along, though, so much gold has now been picked up the Bristol Smugglers that the gold has been even back to a point where it was prior to Evelyn getting that triple kill. 3 kills in quick succession at the very least. And this means that the Bristol Smugglers are at least keeping up in tempo. They're not being outscaled, they're not being rushed down, they're able to keep up in the map movements, they're able to keep up in the plays, and this Pike, just being able to rotate to plays quicker, might be enough to slow down the pace of this game for the Kingston Harriers and at least give them a fighting chance.
And I was just about to say how Disperse has been really on point with the Bone Skewers, so many times pulling back targets. Now the recalls are timed exceptionally poorly. The Bone Skewer does manage to land, but unfortunately High BMI low IQ, he's going to be able to throw down the Hextech ultimatum on Disperse, who can't get to safety. And as well, that is true for Knifey. This is a short name using the stopwatch, even keeping himself alive on the back of these 2 kills picked up by the Kingston Harriers. The first turret of the game still hasn't gone down, but that's going to be a charm landing on Azazels. He flashes himself away. He's going to be able to get away from Coffee, but has to burn a key summoner in response.
Yeah, the last harass not quite available for Evelyn there, not able to be able to use that one just in time, as maybe one more Q would have been enough to finish him off.
Oh, Zazel's looking for a potential kill, has the Cataclysm. We do see the ultimate used by Coffee getting to safety, but it's not going to be safe enough because there was Recollect looking to pick up a kill. Now 3-2-0 on this Kai'Sa and almost completing the mirror mana.
Yeah, unfortunately 180 degrees in the wrong direction as he ults directly into the path of the Kai'Sa, giving her the shutdown as well. Because now Regan wants revenge for that previous kill.
Vanguard's Edge is going to be issued, but now the Dominus as well. It's going to be Regan who picks up this kill. He got caught short last time. Not going to happen again.
Yeah, with the Sheen completed for him and no increase in items for the Renekton. Easy cleanup there for Regan, and he's going to probably get this bot lane tower pretty shortly, unless the Lysandra gets over there to stop.
The turret plating has now fallen off. No more extra gold to be had. No, but only extra gold coming in from a potential first brick to be had.
Now the Kingston Harriers. They're trying to increase the tempo of this game. They want to make plays, but Bristol Smugglers coming back into it.
Double knockup from the Java, but it's going to be the Pike who falls. Kingston Harriers yet again in a 2 versus 3 scenario. It's the 2 that come on top. When will they learn? Now the charm arrives and the 3 versus 2 is in favour of the Harriers, and they're not going to make the same mistake. Recollect, he flashes underneath his turret. He does manage to get to safety, but the Harriers, they just keep turning these situations in their favour, and it's the over-aggression of Disperse that is costing the Smugglers.
And Coffee here gets spotted out, but is just enough to stop the recalls, and he's not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to rotate anywhere else. They're not going to be able to make any map movements. Instead, just have to sit there and watch their tower fall, losing so much tempo just because she is able to invisibly walk underneath the tower.
Ocean Dragon, the second dragon of the game, the Infernal was the first one, which went over to the Smugglers. at this point of the game last time round, at 15 minutes, we were talking about the game being over, about the Harriers essentially, about the Smugglers, sorry, already just having to think about what they're going to do in the next pick and ban. And in this game, yes, there's a 4K lead in favour. Oh, this is that's not a trail you want to take, Night V. He's going to get a little caught out, lose so much of his health for just stopping a recall. The Smugglers are still in this game, even though they find themselves 4K gold down.
Yeah, with the ultimate being available for Lysandra, I'm not going to go under the tower for him. I'm not going to try and fight him there. And instead, just chunking him out and backing away. But this is still the Aurelia showing the dominance in the lane. She has so much more gold, she has so much more in terms of damage stats than pretty much anyone else in the game other than Camille. It means that she's able to compete with anybody you put up against her. Nobody can really fight her, and now she's still looking for it. She's thinking about ulting onto Night V, but the issue is, not only is Zazor's just around the corner, but that ultimate is available for Night V. You don't want to go that aggressive.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not count to disperse. The charm is not going to get fully issued. Meanwhile, high BMI, low IQ wants yet another 1v1. We've seen this one before play out, and now with Dominus being waited out, Hextech Ultimatum is issued.
Nice.
Pigeon Empress just gets absolutely obliterated. The Trinity Force impact coming through there was absolutely insane. Recollect doing what he can to stave off the damage to this turret. The Harriers continuing to look dominant.
Harriers, that shows you the power of the Camille right now. For a moment there, it looked like the fight was going poorly, but she gets the ult back in, gets all the bonus damage on hit, keeps it up.
Oh, and that was dispersed so very nearly getting a stun. Night V was there for the potential follow, but it was not meant to be. Meanwhile, Ithro is currently doing a good job of shooting arrows rather than throwing axes and turning the damage straight onto the Kai'Sa, not quite able to get the kill, but immediately zoning that ADC away from her turret.
And just while they try and stop them desperately in the top lane, they're getting shit damage on the bot lane and the mid lane, and Disperse almost goes down.
That was just a complete shredding of health bars. Pyke is really having a rough time in this game, unable to step up to anyone.
You know, Stan, this for you of all people has to feel incredibly vindicating when you get to see a Pyke go 1-6.
Well, this is what people tell me should be happening at the minute with the changes that have been made to the health pool. However, I've not seen any evidence of that until this game. And right now, this is actually Disperse being punished in the exact way that Riot said they wanted Pikes to be punished for going in for these type of plays. So it makes sense. It's nice to see it happening, but I still think it's a broken as hell champ.
One champ, easy game.
I do. I do all the time.
This is...
Wait, did you say ban or fun?
Fun.
Oh no, it's not fun. I ban it all the time. Nuts to that.
See, like, the problem I still have is Akali, even after all the nerfs, removing so many mechanics from her, is still a broken champion.
Speaking of broken, that's got to be how Zazors feels. He has to flag and drag his way out to safety. Meanwhile, the shield goes up, and this is a short name, negates so much of the damage coming through from the Kai'Sa. Going back to the Akali, yes, still a pretty crazy champ how that can take over a game.
It's amazing how prevalent Akali still is after receiving... Excuse me.
That's okay. I mean, Akali is in a really, really hot place, and actually right now, high BMI, low IQ might not be, but he's going to be able to dodge away from the Bone Skewer just by a nice, easy use of that grappling hook, getting himself straight over to the wall and out.
Yeah, Akali still such a prevalent champion in the current meta game, even after so many nerfs, because they keep rebuffing her and saying they over-nerfed her every time.
He's behind you! That's going to be the Aurelia just completely catching out Knight, catching out Zazors, forcing a flash, but still getting a kill in return. The Cataclysm may have locked one in, but Recollect's the one who's truly stuck. Icethrow gets that kill, but it was really Regan that was the highlight playmaker, sneaking in behind the two members of the Bristol Smugglers, and now another turret shall fall.
Just gritting my teeth the entire time watching that. That was disgusting, and it's just what Aurelia can do when you give her these items and you get to this point in the game where the enemy team just can't compete with her, and she's a level 12 Aurelia going up against like a level 9 AD carry? Level 10 mid laner maybe? It's just so dominant throughout has been Regan, and even when he overstepped a couple times in the mid lane and did die, he was still doing so much and getting so much value out of the damage he could put down, even if he did get punished for pushing it right to the edge.
Regan here just completely able to go wherever he pleases on this Aurelia, taking away the CS, taking away the hopes of the Bristol Smugglers as well. What was a 4k gold lead less than 4 minutes ago is now a 10,000 gold lead for the second time in consecutive games. The Kingston Harriers have got themselves a death grasp on this game. That's going to be Zazors dashing forward, only to find a Regan on top of his Krugs. Zazors losing so much of his health. The Crocodile is going to arrive in a moment. That's going to be enough to send Aurelia packing, but not with much of a missing health bar.
just the Aurelia is still so strong right now. They have to send 3 members to deal with her.
That's not 3, that's 4. That is going to be Regan completely caught out, still dashing around, still putting down damage, but eventually shut down by the Pike. Disperse managing to get this one. Meanwhile, a Drake, the Mountain Dragon, going over to the Kingston Harriers.
And a nice shutdown on the side lane, but the fact that they have to commit so many members to get rid of that Aurelia is such an important fact right now, because it means that once the siege is set up and once the lanes are in an appropriate position, they have to commit that many members. They just lose an in him for it.
Baron has spawned. Vision control is now so crucial, as we do see Pike trying to get some vision down, but he's just about to run face first. Oh. Where's Disperse gone? He has been dispersed.
Big yike, he has just disappeared.
Holy moly, that was a lot of damage.
Big yikes indeed.
Talk to me about Evelyn, Sin.
Evelyn, well...
Don't worry about the Hextech ultimatum.
She's gone for the Ludens, so she's pretty strong right now. What you've generally seen being the build for Evelyn more recently is you go jungle item directly into Spellbinders into Death Cap.
Lichbane rather than Ludens.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say, yes. But normally the build you see is you go Spellbinders / Death Cap straight away. But going for the Lichbane is still a burst focused build, but it gives you more CDR, it gives you a little bit more survivability because you get your ult back a little bit more often.
Alrighty, well, it is going to be Coffee who picks up that kill in startling fashion. We also saw Knight trying to get away from a play in the top lane. However, the Hextech ultimatum was perfectly played out by high BMI, a low IQ, and the Baron has now been secured for all 5 members of the Kingston Harriers.
See, this engage here should spell the end, as they're going to be able to get the inhibitor very shortly after.
Disperse dashes away. That's going to be the Cataclysm put down. A 1-for-1 so far, as Eve does manage to take down the Java, but Kaiser has killed off the Aurelia. But look at the return of kills. Here comes iThrow. He's just slinging those arrows straight through everybody's faces. One final kill going to be picked up by high BMI, low IQ. Doesn't even have to burn his Guardian Angel, and with that, the ace is completed. The victory is assured. The Kingston Harriers are going to win their first game of Belong Arena Clash here on the Winter Split and go unbeaten. The Bristol Smugglers will drop to 1-1. Right now, the Kingston Harriers have performed in the most dominating fashion across 2 games that we have seen in a considerable time, Sin. And like, just in an instant, they have made themselves contenders as potential winners for the Winter Split.
If this gives you any kind of idea as how well they did, that game in which they just ended in 22 minutes, they ended that game just as quickly as they did in a game with an 11-2 Draven. That's how strong they were in that game. That's how well the Camille was doing, the Evelyn was doing. And I normally have a lot to criticize about the Evelyn. Besides that play for the initial gank around level 3, fairly decent play on the Evelyn, 1 ult in the wrong direction, understood what his aim was to do as the champion, understood his gank pathways, what he was aiming to do for his team, and he did his job well. He also hit the point in the game that is just a joy to watch as an Evelyn player, where you have just enough AP so that your passive heals you up to full every single time, and that's the one that really gets me. My heart goes out to you, Bristol Smugglers, but they had no chance in that series. The window was never open for them, and the doors were slammed shut.
Credit to the Kingston Harriers picking up that win. Coffee 1-2-3 with a fantastic game, but was Coffee your MVP across that series?
Come on, like, when I'm looking at this, Coffee did fairly well in Game 1, did pretty well in Game 2. I was happy with his performances throughout. But how are you not looking at iThrow Axes here? He had another great game on the Ashe.
How are you not looking at Regan?
Regan had a really good game, because the thing is, like, he played very aggressively, and it worked out for him a lot of the time, but he had the leader problem, which is where you're trying to get every single point of damage you can out of your champion, and then it means if anybody other than your opposing laner is there, you just die.
Yes.
And that happened
a few times.
5 times that game, where he just died, and 4 of those times he didn't get anything for it when it happened.
So for you, it was all about iThrow.
For me, it was about iThrow, and then also, you got to look at that top lane as well. It was really good performance from the Camille in this game, and honestly, 9-1-2, I think he finished this game. Dominant performance. He was the reason that this game ended so quickly.
It feels harsh that the support is the only one we haven't mentioned, so a shout out to them as well. A really stellar performance, helping carry iThrow to, what was maybe the MVP performance, if I'm hearing you rightly. all of that comes together to mean that actually we've just talked about all 5 lanes being strong for the Kingston Harriers, and when you can do that, not just have one person that is your sole carry, that shows what a dominant force you really can be. And so with that, it does wrap up our gameplay for the evening, because that is a 2-0 win for the Kingston Harriers. On the back of a forfeit in the end, it is the Bristol Brawlers who take the series 2-1 against the Cardiff Saints after an absolutely incredible couple of games.
That Kingston ruined my perfect predictions. I only got 4 out of 5 tonight.
It must feel bad for you.
Yeah, 80% prediction rate. At least I gave them the credit and said, this is how they win the game if X happens. I just did not see that Draven snowballing anywhere near as hard as it did.
If it makes you feel better, I got 1 out of 5, so you can have my 1, and then you're 5 out of 5.
Perfect prediction, guys. We did it.
There we go. That's the true
superior analyst.
So get yourself
got to hit him with it
over to Sin's Twitter, and then you can check out what his predictions were for Worlds. Copy them and just, get 100%. Get yourself loads of free skins. That's how you do it. That's how we did it here on Belong Arena Clash this week. It has been an absolute whale of a time. I am so very excited for next week's Halloween special. I'm going to be here in one of 4 outfits, possibly all of them if it's a draw. Who knows? Just wear a bit of each.
Oh God, just one-man band looking outfit.
Yeah, I'll just change in between each game. Why not?
At SRCCYN on Twitter. Check me out.
At Greyheart99. Come on, put Stan Lee back on again. Sodding Stan
It's
Lee.
at SRCCYN. How did Martin do me like that?
I was going to say, that's not even your Twitter handle.
That's not even my Twitter.
Someone go and add that one and start talking to them about League of Legends. See what happens. I've been Stanley Greyheart Barker. This has been Stuart Sim McLeod. Next week, it will be a spooky old show. We'll see you then. Good night.